for people to join?
Hey, what's up, Master Leadership? It's great to finally have you on the spaces. I usually have songs in the background, but I'm hosting from my phone since I'm out of town. And that would be awesome, dude. If you don't mind, I usually launch literally at 8:30, so that'd be great to, bump some music in the background while we wait, for more people to fill up. Today's gonna be an exciting day. And again, dude, thank you for joining the space, bro. I definitely have a bunch of questions for yourself.
Digibyte boy. You walked in, wallet out on fleek. Crypto king with a Digibyte mystique. No gas fees, just receipts. Moving fast, got the world on beat. You're decentralized and I'm mesmerized. Black time like your love optimized. A future built with you feels right. So baby, scan that code tonight. Oh, Digibyte boy, you're my type boy. Secure and strong, turn my wrongs to right, boy. No middleman, no lies, just you, me, and the sky. You got that chain that sets my soul on fire. Yeah, yeah. Digibyte boy. You don't flex coins, you don't believe, but you lift whole nations up with ease. Open source, heart, got no disguise. Proof of love looking in your eyes. From Lagos down to Tokyo, you're spreading freedom block by block, you know. And when I'm near you, time just flies. This crypto love will never die. Oh, Digibyte boy, you're my type boy. Secure and strong, turn my wrongs to right, boy. No middlemen, no lies, just you, me, and the sky. You got that chain that sets my soul on fire. Yeah, yeah. Digibyte boy. Baby, you're the ledger I've been riding on. Verified, electrified, the trust is strong. You don't need to stake my love, it's proof. You're the block I choose. Yeah, that's the truth. Digibyte boy, you light my life, boy. You're my Satoshi dream in real time, boy. Every block we build feels right, so let's live this love tonight. Yeah, yeah, Digibyte boy. Digibyte boy.
Yeah. Every morning when I wake, now Digibyte I dey check. He dey shine for my wallet, he dey make my heart correct. From Africa to the world, Digibyte don't spread. Now true blockchain no fake. He dey make my life dey settle. I love my Digibyte, oh. Now he dey make me smile every night, oh. When I see that blue logo, they bright, oh. Now joy they full my life, Digibyte, oh. I love my Digibyte, oh. Now he dey make me smile every night, oh. When I see that blue logo, they bright, oh. Now joy they full my life, Digibyte, oh. No Sankra wahala, no line, no stress. If fast like lightning, need a beat the rest, oh. Security tight, no hack, I go test, oh. If you no get time, my brother, you miss blessings, oh. I love my Digibyte, oh. Now you dey make me smile. When I see that blue logo, they bright. That joy they full my life, Digibyte, oh. DGB for my heart, no before. Every block we mind, they stand up. I dey tell my friends, make una join the call. Digibyte na the future, we go ball. And Digibyte they make me happy. Now Digibyte they make me smile. Every day I dey thank my God, say Digibyte in my life. Oh, Digibyte in my life. Oh.
Yo, 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 yo. You guys can hear me?
Hey, I can hear you. What's up?
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. The name is AJ, and this is the DigiDollar Awareness Space. Today is a loaded day. Seems like it's taking a little bit longer for a couple people to come and join in, but since I have you here, what's up, Master of Leadership? My name is AJ, and I've been watching from the outsides of things that you've been working on, and have a ton of questions. I figured, maybe we chop it up, or unless it seems like it's just you and I for right now. I don't know if you're willing to, dig in a couple more Digibyte tunes, and maybe we wait a couple more people to join, or if you're up for it, then we could just get to chatting.
Two more Digibyte songs just to get the energy going, and then we can start our conversation just to see who wants to come. Because I'd rather try to talk on with people here than just
Sounds good, dude. Sounds good. So I don't know what time it is wherever you're at. It's 7:30 where I'm at, Eastern time. Well, it's 8:30 Eastern time, but where I'm at, I'm an hour behind. I'm not sure if you're in the United States or whatever, but hopefully these spaces they've been running pretty late, actually. They've been running like almost 3 hours, dude. 3 hours, 3 hours and a half.
I remember.
So I'm sure we'll have.
When we used to do the spaces, they would last forever, and I would be the host, and I'll be falling asleep on there.
Sweet, dude. So just let's do some tunes. Let's do some tunes and wait for some people to join.
Okay, that sounds good.
Sounds good, dude. I'll if anything, I guess I'll message you in the background, like, hey, bro, I'm about to hop in.
Okay.
Or I'll wait for the song to be done, and just, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
All right.
ओ मेरे लव गुरु सुनो एक बात नहीं जो दिल को छू ले और जेबे भी भरे भाई ना सिर्फ इश्क का ये डिजिटल प्यार का है राज डिजिबाइट नाम का है क्रिप्टो का अंदाज
तू कहता था मोहब्बत में सिर्फ दिल लगता है पर दुनिया के सफर में पैसा भी तो लगता है अब ब्लॉकचेन से कर ले तू रिश्तों की बुनियाद डिजिबाइट का प्यार है सबसे ज्यादा यार दिल से डिजिबाइट लव के साथ अब मनी भी राइट कोई फीस नहीं कोई चीट नहीं तेरे प्यार जैसे पूरा दिलाई दिल से डिजिबाइट लव के साथ अब मनी भी राइट कोई फीस नहीं कोई चीट नहीं तेरे प्यार जैसे पूरा दिलाई बिना मतलब के वैसे डिजिबाइट देता है स्पीड बिना रुकावट के ना कोई बैंक ना कोई लाइन तू भी किंग और क्रिप्टो भी फाइन ओ लव गुरु अब सुन इस डिजिटल फसाने को तू बन जा डिजिट्रैप का दीवाना पाग दीवाने को डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड है सिक्योर है और स्ट्रॉन्ग इससे समझे वो चले लाइफ लॉन्ग दिल से डिजिबाइट तेरी दुनिया बन जाए रोमांस में तू जैसे किंग क्रिप्टो में तू डिजिबाइट दिल से डिजिबाइट तेरी दुनिया बन जाए रोमांस में तू जैसे किंग क्रिप्टो में तू डिजिबाइट
Turn the bass up, let the DJ call. Digibyte's the champ, it beats them all. Bitcoin started at the OG flame. Ethereum smart with that contract game. Ripple got waves like coin move fast, but Digibyte's tech gonna outlast. Cardano steady, Solana's quick. Polka that link in the chains all click. Shiba bark and those in the sky, but when DGB drops, it's do or die. Hey, from the club to the mall, decentralized strong will never fall. When the chains light up, Digibyte stands tall. BNB got an empire, staking the claim. Hey. Avalanche sliding in the crypto game. Hey. Draw got the vibes, cosmos so wide, but Digibyte speed leaves them all behind. Monero privacy, Zcash too. Stella's bright, yeah, it shines on you. But as the streets or the DJs call, DGB's the one that rules them all. Hey, from the club to the mall, decentralized strong will never fall. When the chains line up, Digibyte stands tall. BD. Do we up? Do we up? Do we up? Do we up? Throw your hands up, crypto worldwide. Dance to the beat where the blockchains collide. Security speed, time algorithms deep. DGB forever, the crown we keep. Oh, every block, every wall. 7 years strong, still standing tall. It's the Digibyte anthem. Answer the call. Yeah. Oh, from the club to the mall. Decentralized strong will never fall. The chains line up. Digibyte stands tall. Byte stands tall. Yeah, Byte stands tall.
Yo. It's good, you guys. You guys can hear me out there? Give me a thumbs up. I'd like to start by saying thank you, Master of Leadership, for joining us today and putting on some Digibyte tunes for everybody to hang out and listen while we wait for more people to chime in. Yo, Green, we only need 5, right? Just wanted to ask that. I've been a little disconnected. Oh, we're down to 4. Let's go, you guys. Only 4 more
4.
price oracles. Where are we at? Is that like 31?
30. Well, yeah, technically 31 because the Oracle keys start 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way up to, 35. So 30 is technically 31. But yeah, we have 31 oracles right now. So yeah, 31, 4
Sweet.
more to
That's
go.
awesome, dude.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
yeah.
What's that, bro? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just saying tomorrow is what Jared said, we would like to have by Wednesday. So tomorrow's Wednesday. So whatever we got, we have enough. We've reached the 28, which was, yeah, we're going to probably get 35 though. It's looking like it, It's looking like it. But regardless, we've reached what we really need, some independent price oracles that, we'll see how this plays out.
But yeah, dude, that was important, man. Digibyte community came together. I mean, it was a lot quicker than it was going to be. I could have sworn like literally 2 days ago we were like at 21, right? It was maybe 2-3 days ago, and now look at us, 31
Yep.
soon to. That was the idea, dude. Launch at 35 oracles, and it's looking like that's going to be actually possible.
Yeah, it's looking like it.
So today's awesome, dude. I'm in the background. I'm going to try. I'm hosting again from my phone because I'm actually working on some stuff for Digibyte. I'm waiting on the approval, see if I can speak about this one thing today. I haven't gotten it yet, but if I get it, then I could share with you guys. Other than that, today's going to be packed, dude. Adam's going to come in. I've been trying to get this Digi asset thing, I've been trying to understand it. I feel like I get it at times, and then I go and explain it and I completely lose myself. So Adam's going to be coming in here. Hopefully we get Renzo. I know Jose already joined, and we'll be able to chop that up, a little bit later. But for right now, everybody that's in the space, we have Master of Leadership. He is the creator of Digibyte Tunes. Again, Master of Leadership, correct me if I'm wrong. And he is also the creator of DigiSwagToken.com. And I guess if you want to go ahead and give us a quick brief, and then I'll chime in to that. But yeah, dude, your space is floor is yours.
Well, sure. Let me just give you guys just a brief history on me. I've been in the Digibyte community since 2018. I joined April 2018. I'm a member of the Digibyte awareness team. And I founded an initiative called the Digibyte Africa Awareness Initiative, which we call DI. I founded that back in 2023. In 2020, I got really fixated on the idea of Digibyte becoming practical in an area that is desperately needing the technology. And so one of the things that got me excited was that Nigerians at large were one of the largest groups of people who were familiar with Bitcoin. And I felt like that was a good niche market for me to go into to attempt to explain Digibyte's fundamentals and get people learning why blockchain technology is the future. I've onboarded thousands of people into the Digibyte community through that initiative, and I've given out millions of Digibyte. I've built a group. I built websites. We've had pageants. We've had all types of things about that DOC community. But the greatest thing that have ever came out of the DOC community was the DigiSwag token. The DigiSwag token was created in 2023. I believe 2023. Let me check 1 second. I want to make sure I get that right. Because if I go to about, click on, the link to the DigiAsset Explorer doesn't always work. But actually in September of 2024, September of 2024, we created the DigiSwag token. Initially, it was just a community token that we would just use as incentive to send across the blockchain for doing things in the community, like spreading awareness, hosting a meeting, doing a post. And then we started to learn that the greatest part of a blockchain is utility. And we started to use Digibyte more frequently. We started to do these things called peer-to-peer transfer contests, where we would create a wallet and determine how many transactions you could get on your wallet before like a 7-day period. And you would have to transact with people and things like that. So the incentive behind, or the initiative behind the DigiSwag token is ultimately to create more utility on the Digibyte's blockchain. The DigiSwag token was created because at the time Digibyte was much more expensive than it is now. And we know the average Nigerian lives on a very small amount of money a month. So investing isn't very feasible for them. So I wanted to create an initiative where they can get involved with crypto without the barrier of financial. And DigiSwag is that tool for them. So how does DigiSwag work? Well, the platform has an allocation of 15 million DigiSwag. There's 100 million DigiSwag, but the platform has an allocation of 15 million. So that platform will share 15 million DigiSwag until the platform ends. And basically what happens is that 15 million DigiSwag is split up on the marketplace or in the app, and is given out as incentive or for like doing quizzes, making posts, posting memes, listening to podcasts, watching informative videos. We just created a kingdom competition in the app, which encourages people to post content, quality content to get tipped, and post quality feedback on the app. Through the 15 million, that's been split up to everybody. So there's no need for us to bring new coins. But as far as the initiative, I'm funding it myself right now. So the more people that get involved, help to grow the awareness of Digibyte, because if you get on the platform, you'll realize that everything on that platform is about Digibyte. Like, it's everything Digibyte. What we've done is we've taken the technical part of it and dumbed it down so people can truly understand the fundamentals of Digibyte. And in fact, we just created a DigiDollar exam, and we have over 15 people who aced it. So people are learning about how this technology works, why it's important, and they're learning enough to be able to teach the next man. So the reason why I love this platform is because not only that I birthed it, but there's a generation of people who really believe in Digibyte, and the barrier for them to get in is financial. And this incentive is a way for them to accumulate some Digibyte through learning, recruiting, and educating people about the Digibyte blockchain. So I think it's a really neat, cool tool. I love it. We have over 388 people on the app right now. And it's just been a really fun experience. You know, I'm not a developer, but somehow I made this app. So I'll leave you with that. But I love Digibyte. I just want to put that out there that I love Digibyte so much that I had to think of ways to get to an end to a means. And one of the things I wanted people to do is enjoy Digibyte without any pain. And that's why I enjoy DigiSwag, because it's a meme coin built on Digibyte. It's a digi asset. So when the digi asset protocol is more robust and there's wallets, people will be able to send DigiSwag from wallet to wallet. And with 100 million tokens in circulation, can still be listed somewhere on an exchange. And this platform already has an allocation of 15 million DigiSwag that we kept for this platform. And that's going to be shared amongst everybody on that platform. So I'm excited. Yeah. So if you guys have any questions for me or any feedback, if you've ever experienced the app, I would love to hear any feedback from anybody on what they think or any such suggestions on how the app can be better. Please just message me. I'm always looking for things to encourage people to get involved with Digibyte, and learn, because learning is the most important part of this technology. You know, every time we turn around, something new is happening with Digibyte, from the DigiDollar to the forks, not the forks, but the recent mainnet updates. Just things that, are happening, it's often, so it requires a lot of reading and learning. And when we can break that down and disseminate it to the larger audience in a way that they can chew it, it makes things much simple. So
Sweet. So I guess basically the plan right now is to interact with the DigiSwag token within the protocol. There's no actual way of withdrawing the DigiSwag token, is what I'm understanding, right?
yes, you can. But right now, when you withdraw Digibyte from the platform, DigiSwag from the platform, you're only getting a fraction of DigiSwag for the amount of DigiSwag token you have on the platform. Platform DigiSwag token is not the same as the DigiSwag token, because the platform has inflation. There's 15 million tokens allocated to the platform. So as long as people withdraw and add to it, because if you add DigiSwag, you get like 32 tokens per DigiSwag you add. So there's right now, let me get the correct numbers. 97 million DigiSwag out there, and right now on the blockchain there's 480 holders. So the DigiSwag is on the blockchain. It's just 15 million has been allocated to this platform and shared amongst the members on the platform.
So would the DigiSwag tokens be essentially likened to like the physical chips at a casino essentially? It's kind of what it sounds like, right? Like basically they're used as casino chips, but with there's a not train a ratio that you could cash out a percentage, I guess, if you wanted to.
Right now, if you go to the app, I'm on the app. When I go to withdrawal, right now, the conversion rate for withdrawal is you're only getting about, for every 100 DigiSwag token on the platform, you're only getting 2 DigiSwag in real life. But if you're depositing DigiSwag, let's say you deposit 100 DigiSwag, you'll get 3,000 tokens on the platform. And those tokens allow you to wager in the platform. So you can send the tokens to one of the games is called roulette, and you can gamble 2,000 tokens. Again, as the token supply inflation happens on the app, remember this app is not really funded by anything. So it's just taking more people to be able to get involved with the DigiSwag ecosystem and the Digibyte ecosystem. But it hasn't impacted the supply, which is the 100 million DigiSwag. So if you have DigiSwag on the network, it's not the same as the DigiSwag on the app. And yeah, but there is also a peer-to-peer exchange on the app. So once we start to expand the horizons and potentially DigiSwag gets listed somewhere, as we work on this DigiDollar, this new app that came out, as you can see, Jared Tate showed the app that was originally out before that had Digi Assets, and hopefully that app will still have Digi Assets. And if we can get Coinomi to list Digi Assets on their platform, then we have better chances of DigiSwag being listed. But the real thing is DigiSwag doesn't really have to be listed. It's just a utility between Digibyte and Digi Assets. And if we use DigiNexum or any other Digibyte peer-to-peer exchange, we can always trade DigiSwag. And then you can also move your DigiSwag to the platform or off the platform at will to exchange for real DigiSwag. There's a reason why that happened, because I was trying to originally keep the supply on the platform the same amount as off the platform, but people started to earn so much DigiSwag and I couldn't take it back from them. So what I did was I just created a fractional treasury for a percentage of the allocation of DigiSwag that was supposed to be bought for development. So those coins are actually held in an escrow to supply the app.
Sweet. So Adam just joined us. I still have a couple more questions, but since we're in the topic of Digi assets, Adam and myself, we're a little bit confused on basically everything. So I'm not sure if Jose and Master Leadership I guess if you guys don't mind, just giving us a full on re-breakdown. I know it might be a little frustrating, but just for us to like almost to get it across so it's as easy as a 5-year-old can understand. Because I hear it, I just don't understand it.
Okay. So there was originally a code called Colored Coins for Bitcoin, and they used that code in Digibyte. And basically, just like Ethereum can make tokens on top of the blockchain, meaning that there's always the railroad tracks, which is the original native cryptocurrency. But on top of that cryptocurrency, you can build another token. Now that token is used to send that token across the blockchain. It costs the original native coin. So in this case, Digi Assets is a very unique protocol because it's a token built on a UTXO proof of work blockchain compared to a machine or a virtual machine or Ethereum virtual machine, which we know has so many holes and gaps as far as security wise that every time we turn around, there's some type of hack or phishing of someone's private keys, and there's some exploit that causes the virtual machine to malfunction. But with Digibyte, because the way script is written, you can't manipulate and cut through anything. It's very clean security. So with DigiAssets, it's a more secure version of building tokens on a blockchain. And these tokens, right now, to mint one, you can mint one on diginexum.trade. It's very affordable. Renzo doesn't charge much to mint one to try to experience it. But you can go on diginexum.trade and you can go in and generate a token based on any attributes you want. In fact, I had Renzo help me create a token that had an MP3 on it. So you can create tokens with all types of attachments. Right now the limitation is just photographs, not files. So in the DigiNexum protocol, but anything can be minted on the blockchain. So you can do PDFs, you can do MP3s, you can do MP4s, you can do all types of things that can register ownership to you. And the greatest thing about it is you can mint as many of those tokens as you want. And those tokens can be stored in a wallet that's in your ownership. So let's say, for an example, I did a lottery. I did a lottery of 100 tokens, and we used to do a Digibyte lottery where the person who won would win the whole pool of Digibyte that was collected. So when you would go on to DigiNexum, you would go on and buy the token, right? Once you buy the token on the DigiAssets, Explorer, you can see the list of all the addresses that own the token. And what I would do is I would put the addresses in a random generator, and whoever address came up will receive all of the Digibyte that was accumulated through the sales. So this is just an example of like the utility you can make with DigiAssets and how DigiAssets brings more utility to Digibyte. See, the thing is, people don't understand. When you look at a blockchain, they're not just looking at the price. You're looking at how many transactions that are transpiring daily, how many transactions that are transpiring monthly, how many transactions are transpiring annually. This is looked at as favorable data for the purposes of people choosing a blockchain to invest in and also build upon. Because the transactions show utility, versatility, and also the ability to process what we're saying we can do. So right now we say we can do 1066 transactions per second. So let's push it to that limit so people can actually see that in action. So that's why I chose to try to create an inexpensive token that could help to boost the transaction count of Digibyte through utility, which is ultimately getting people involved in the blockchain through DigiAssets, which is a protocol built on the back of Digibyte, which is as secure. So the beautiful thing is any country, any government, any store can build their gift card program. They could build their fiat currency program on DigiAssets. And the great thing about it is they can adopt all the security of Digibyte. So since Digibyte is already so secure, you can diffuse or put away that technology fee for cybersecurity initiatives when you have a blockchain that can't be hacked, right? So you don't have to worry about your transactions being hacked or your data being manipulated. It's all protected by Digibyte. Go ahead, America. Sorry.
Go ahead, Adam. Yeah, dude.
Hey, man. So let everybody know, I did change my profile name to American Crypto Guy because I created that YouTube channel and I named it that. And I was just trying to keep the branding all the same. But I don't know. I like it. I think I'm going to stick with it.
I like it.
But so So I'm gonna be honest. I've never even looked at digi asset stuff, and I generally kind of understand what you're saying. But I mean, let's start from like point A. Like, where do I go? Like, what's the name of the website?
The most functional site right now for DigiAssets is Renzo's website, which is diginext.trade.
And we do have, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you guys, but Renzo and Jose are in today's space. So if you guys feel free to, chime in when you can. And the guys are here for all of us to understand this. One question I did before we do move, Master Leadership, is there an idea on maybe implementing Digibyte Tunes into DigiSwag, or is that just going to stay separate? And
Well,
yeah.
Tunes is I just wanted to brand that different from DigiSwag because I just wanted that to be just an avenue for anybody in Digibyte to just find, because not everybody likes meme coins. So I wanted to create that separate. So with the meme coin, there is songs on the meme coin app as well. So the DigiTunes is going to remain separate from Swag.
Hey, could somebody post in the comments the link to the digi asset
Not
stuff?
trade.
Yeah, if you could.
Okay.
So Jose actually also posted an article. It's in the comments. DigiAssets features on Medium, but it basically breaks everything down. But again, Renzo's there. Renzo, if you want to chime in real quick and I guess help us all understand, and Jose too.
Yeah, DigiAssets is really cool. Renzo, if you can come up, or Jose. One thing we've experienced several versions of DigiAssets. And DigiAssets can do some amazing things. But the major takeaway from this is the ability to create ownership of anything, and that includes notary, that includes certificates, that includes concert tickets, anything you can think of that needs credentialing or authentication can be used with DigiAssets. In fact, you can have it set up to where you can only access a website based on having ownership of a DigiAsset. And that website will be open with DigiID. So the technology is very robust. It can do a lot of intricate things. So learning about this protocol, we just kind of neglected it as a community because we've been so focused on the main chain. But the good thing is it's still a robust technology and it's still advanced. It just takes us to just take some time to invest in the protocol. And that's why I've been quietly stepping away from promoting Digibyte at large to promoting the utility of Digibyte through alternative means. Because when you think of coins like Solana, their utility comes from a meme coin market, most of it. So I'm not encouraging us to be a meme coin filter, but I wanted to create a meme coin for our community to be able to have fun. And that's something that I felt like I've been in this community for almost a decade, and fun was not a part of the process. So I wanted to create something where we could all come together and say, you know what? Did you make a post today? Or I like that post. I'm going to tip you, or that meme. Like the meme contest on the app is so fun that when you're reading them, you're just like cracking up the whole day. And people put really effort into their memes. So you want to tip them and things like that. So that's just one feature. But like I said, the DigiAssets is an open source protocol that allows for us to tokenize just about anything and put it on the blockchain and show ownership.
Yeah, so I definitely want to dive in more and understand, because when I hear the digi assets and the part about you can secure documents or maybe even legal documents. So say if we created a what's the name of the company? It's called
One voice, do that. I
DocuSign.
think the best thing is use your example.
You know, like if I had like a DocuSign DigiAsset type of platform where I could send contracts to customers and they could sign it via, through the app, just like DocuSign. That'd be cool.
I
You
think
know,
we had a document signing initiative at one point. I don't know how far it went, but I do believe like notarizing documents is possible through tokenization, because what it does is it gives it an earmark of the date.
because that's something I do on a daily basis. I probably, 200, 300 contracts a year I sign through DocuSign. So, that would be something I could definitely get behind. And
Renzo is here. I don't know if Renzo could speak on how much of
but I'm still trying to find the site. So I found the article.
Yeah.
Let me post the site on.
Yeah, if you could just put the site name in there, and then AJ and I could take a look at this. But
Yeah, Renzo, I set up Renzo as a speaker, and so as I was saying, I'm sure they'll probably join him.
Or sometimes,
But they're there. They're as speakers right now, so.
sometimes his network, he's in Peru, so.
But yeah, I definitely want to dive in and start doing some awareness of that feature that we have. And I think on Digiscope Me, Johnny Law put something up with like NTFs and stuff. Is that part of the Digi?
Yeah, you can.
That's
The difference between an NFT and a token is an NFT is non-fungible, which means there's only one. And so an NFT is representative of one identity, one ownership. But with a token, a traditional token, there can be multiple. So the great thing about Digibyte is you can do NFTs or you can do tokens. You could do concert tickets. You could do songs where people, let's say for an example, as an artist, you say, well, I'm going to make a million authentic tracks for my release, and whoever buys it has the ownership of it. So you sell it, and they have as a copy, a million copies, and then those sell organic market.
Sorry.
Yeah, Michael, I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago, we had a really cool experiment with physical Digibyte coins that the sellout was initially made by an auction in where people will bid and the highest values will get coin number 1, then coin number 2, the second one, and go on. And then each of the winners will get a coin, a physical coin on their mailbox, on their homes, and a token or a digi asset of not a token, an NFT of their purchase. I still got mine. So yeah, that was a really cool use case on how those digi assets were minted and issued to the respective owner. That will be that serve as proof of who owned each coin.
I need to make sure I got my NFTs. I had it on the Securus wallet, and that just makes me need to exhale. But
wait, what happened with Securus?
It's like it's on Android, so I need to get an Android phone to be able to get Securus.
Oh, they lost their iOS certification.
They didn't renew it because it was so expensive, I guess. And I don't.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know if
it's being transferred between developers. So if we look at what had happened with the the old what was the exchange that Change Angel. So the developers of Securus used to be developers over there with Change Angel, but there was like kind of like I don't know if there was a falling out or what. They went at, anyways. I think that the developer account that has the iOS app is still part of it. It's being transferred from the old developers. I think and so here's the interesting thing, because Michael and I are both Digibyte Awareness team members. Jin is one of the more seasoned community members. He was part of the Change Angel, and then he moved over to build the Securious wallet. We still have one of the old Change Angel community members. So this business ship, this business whatever deal that they had. And the other guy, Div Yam, is still a part of the Digibyte Awareness team. But the thing is that the developer account still in the middle of a transfer. And there might have been some other stuff going on, cause I think, there were some other people involved, but that's kind of what's holding up the iOS app.
Oh, okay. Well, one day I'll get it. But one thing was really cool, DigiDollar and America, is there when Matthew came out with, I think it was version 2 of DigiAssets, a comic book came out with it. I can't remember the guy name that created the comic book, but with the comic book, as long as you owned the comic book, every month the network would generate you a new coin called cred, right? And in order to go into the comic book website, you would need the comic book, but also the comic book will open up a special marketplace where you can use cred to buy NFTs. So like, one thing I love about Digibyte, I'm just going to say this, is like, we've been before our time for so long, right? Like, we've been doing like when you look at us, you be like, wow, like this is like mind blowing. And we've been doing that for a long time. And so, sometimes I get chills when I see the things that we do and when it's not appreciated. And I understand why it's not, because fundamentally we challenge everything that exists today. Fundamentally, we challenge security on the internet, right, in a way that's profound. Literally, Digibyte could knock out a whole industry of cybersecurity experts, because literally Jared Taylor said out his mouth that over 80% of cyber insecurity can be wiped away with Digibyte. That's a lot of insecurity that can be wiped away with just simply DigiID. And so with DigiAssets, what they can do on chain, I'm not talking about in some third party OpenSea website. I'm talking about on chain. We were doing auctions. Like, people would put up NFTs. We were doing auctions on the NFTs. We were minting things, just about everything. Like, the one thing that Digibyte doesn't have, one thing is that we don't have is capital. See, if Digibyte was to blow up today or tomorrow, we have the wherewithal and knowledge base to create some of the most resilient technologies out there. And that's why you see DigiDollar coming up out of scraps. Like, literally, big Digibyte is less than a penny right now, and we're still developing. That's unheard of for a project, even an open source project. We've seen tons of open source projects, I'm not going to name them, where the development ceases because of the price. So I'm ecstatic because I know that the Digibyte community is not focused on the money. We're focused on being the change. And that's where I come in with my stance, right? There's always a different ends to a means for everybody. And for me, I know that I'm not a developer. I'm not the best talker. I talk a lot on these spaces, and I'm also not good at a lot of things, but I can use AI and my knowledge base and education to create tools to break down barriers. And the barriers to this space, and I know this because I've been doing this for a long time, is education. People say, well, it's not education, it's this, it's that. No, it's education. Because the more seats we get at the table that are aware of what this technology can do, they don't leave. They stick by us and they push us through into the future. So I just want to say that I'm proud of being in this community because we've always been thinking ahead of time. Hey, America.
Hey, hey, Renzo, I got some questions for you, man. So, if somebody's new to the community and they're interested in digi assets like myself. Like, what would be the best way to like learn how to use it?
Well, I first start with the question. Marika, are you a developer?
So, not a developer, but yeah, no, not a developer. So, work.
Okay, then yeah, a good point to start will be to just use them. You can get the assets for free at digifaucet.org. I believe there's it must still be active, the section of the assets. So you have a way to use the ID right now. You have Koinomi installed.
Yeah, I have Koinomi, yep.
Okay, yeah, then go ahead and just create or log in into diginexon.trade. You'll get well, basically a web wallet. It's like, well, that's what it is, a web wallet. A custodial wallet. And there will enable you to receive not just Digibyte, but also the assets. Also, you can mint it, but well, you'll need to like pass a couple of steps more. But to receive the assets, you will just need to use that web wallet. Put the address that the website provides you into digifaucet.org/assets, I believe it is the link. And you will instantly receive some Digifaucet Digi assets. You will find how an asset is displayed on the screen, and you should be able to transfer it to anywhere you like. If you load your wallet with just, let's say, half of a Digibyte or 1 Digibyte. So yeah, if you want to dig a little bit into it, you can create your own Digi assets, in the creator page. If you wanna a branded or a personalized username, you'll just need to like request it on site and then send me a message. I've been planning to automate that part of the process by allowing you to like set up like using the Digibyte domains the way or a method for you to authenticate, but that's another conversation. And then you can create a Digi asset of any image you like. Right now the site is very limited on which types of Digi assets you can create, so you will want to dig a little bit further. You will need a little bit more knowledge into coding. But if you have at least the basis of Node.js or JavaScript, you should be able to look into some repos or some few or a few line of code that I've published in the library that I maintain, and you should be able to issue, well, basically any DES that you like, and basically for free.
So,
sorry, Renzo, if you don't mind, just to keep everybody in test. I don't know if Jose, you want to chime in right now, or if you want to wait it off. I just want to make sure that everybody has enough space, so we don't get lost in translation. And, sometimes our thoughts, we lose our thought.
So let me give you one second, guys. So diginexum.store is the website, or what's the website?
No, diginexum.trade.
Yeah, I put it in the thing under here.
Under the comments?
Yeah, you should be able to click it.
You made a comment? I'm not seeing it, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I made a comment, unless they spammed me. It's DigiNexum Marketplace. You click on it, it should pull up. That's what it says on the
Marketplace.
Just go to DigiNexum, DIGINEXUM.trade. And that's how you pull it up.
Oh, .tree?
Trade. Okay. Trade, like TRADE, trade.
Yeah, my internet here is terrible. I'm surprised I'm even. All right, cool.
So I
All right.
wanted to chime in here. I think Renzo asked, like, here's like where we can have like a good, I guess, start if, when he asked, if Adam was a developer or not. And I think on the last space, Renzo had mentioned his library, his I think it's Node.js. I'll find it and I'll post it at the top so everybody can see it. And so when we're talking about, okay, I might not be a developer, but I might hire a guy to be a developer, or we have a guy in the audience who's looking to work with Digi Assets, you can look at his library, and that should be able to help you, whether you're going to get assistance or whether you're going to, build something yourself. So I'm gonna go ahead and mute, and I'm gonna go find that repository, that library, and I'm gonna share it at the top.
Thanks, Jose. Hey, Adam, did you find it?
So it's .tree, TREE.
.trade.
Trade, like E-Trade, Commerce.
Okay. Sorry, man.
Oh,
Trade.
you're fine.
.trade.
It could be my accent.
Found it. Got it, man. Got it. Hell yeah. Now I can play around with it. Okay. All right. I'll just
send me your Digi's Nexum address, and I'll send you some Digi assets. I got tons of them.
All right. So on Koinami, how do I do that on Koinami?
So what are you using, a laptop or your cell phone?
I'm using my cell.
Okay. So what you're going to do is once you go to diginexum.trade, you're going to click log in. Once you click log in, it's going to bring up a QR code.
Yeah.
You're going to tap that QR code, and it's going to open Koinami. But what you want to do first is open Koinami first, so that Koinami is open.
All right, I'm in.
Oh, you're in the Diginexum site?
Yeah, all right. I see my address. Boom.
Send it to
I'll
me.
drop it in the comments here.
Send it to Twitter, and I'll send you some.
I'll do it. Boom. There it is. I just put it in the comments. Look at that. So, because I remember when I first started to get into this community, and I saw that you're doing some like Christmas artwork and stuff, and so the Christmas artwork was Digi Assets, right? You had like an image of some Digi Christmas stuff with like a music or something.
Oh, yeah.
So, I was trying to figure out how to buy it off you. You wanted like 200 Digibytes for it, and I'm like, I couldn't figure it out. So this is how you do it.
Yes. So, you posted the address?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Well, that's exciting. So I'm looking forward to this and learning more about it. Oh, Jose, man, go ahead, man.
So I wasn't sure if I came off a mute. So in the comments, I did drop 3 Medium articles, and that's kind of like where I got my, I had already heard about it from other community members, and I think it was right around the time that Matthew, the developer for Digi Asset Core and for Digi Assets, was building version 3. So it was still, I think, in testing. And, he finally finished with that with version 3. Then he moved on to building Digi Asset Core. So we are at version 3. But when I got, into Digi Assets and learning about it, like I started doing my own research, and there's 2 articles there. The first article, it says part 1. And so if you look in the comments, you can see part 1. And it was actually Jared Tate that wrote it. And it gives a very simplified, like, you don't have to be super technical. This will give you, like, when we start to talk about op return and the history, I think Master Leadership talked about, a little bit of the history, somewhere in there, there was colored coins. Somewhere in there was this asset or that asset, which later somebody had the idea, hey, let's take this protocol that Bitcoin, invented, or Bitcoin developers, came up with, and they didn't whether they implemented it and decided to get away from it. Digibyte adopted it, kind of like DigiID. And that to me is like part of the history that fascinates me. It's like, oh wow, like
They just a precision, Jose. They abandoned colored coin protocol because Bitcoin became so expensive to mint and network that it wasn't usable anymore.
yeah. And so in those articles, and that might be in there, but in those articles, it'll talk about the part one, just kind of a general, like, this is what, the history from like Omni coins, colored coins to, eventually to Digi assets. And this was something that they developed, that they decided not to use, that we adopted. And like I said, same thing with, DigiID, it was Bitcoin developers that came up with it. It was BitID. And, people in the community said, hey, we can use that, and then we took it and turned it into DigiID. But back to the Digi assets. So the part one is a more simplified explanation. Part two, it's actually the technical part of it. And that when you read part two, you have to understand that article was written in 2019, and it has further evolved. And there isn't another like Medium article that talks about the evolution of from 2 to 3, or some type of explainer that talks about Digi Asset Core. And so I throw that out there because they're still great to read. You can at least get like a good understanding of kind of like where we started with this. And then like to a certain point, then you have to understand like, okay, then it went from V2 to 3, and there were some issues there. And, there is a video out there, where there was an interview, and, the developer basically said, hey, we needed to fix it because, this guy was trying to build a project and all his assets burned. And this was on V2. And then, he ended up, building V3, and then V3 works. And, but the one thing you need to take away from this, what everybody in this conversation needs to take away, that V3 belongs to us. Even though Matthew developed it, that was a gift to the community. So like that's why when we talk about something that belongs to the community, something that belongs to Digibyte, even though like it might not be the highlight of what's happening right now, it belongs to us. It really does. And so does Digi Asset Core. Like for some of the newer members, back in 2023, we began a kind of a donation drive to fund this thing that cost the community $10,000. And so that, even though that might not be the highlight right now, the focus might be DigiDollar, just know that these protocols, these, they belong to the community. And look at it that way and be like, that's ours. Like we can use it. But the thing is that we're limited to how many people actually build with it. There's the guys from Securus Wallet. They know how to build with it. Renzo knows how to build with it. Matthew knows how to build with it. And I'm sure other people will learn, and start building cool stuff with it. But it's just up until now. I've said it like in past spaces. It's like, when some of this stuff started coming out was right when the market trend started going down. And, so there probably isn't a real high demand. If you remember, at one point, there was a demand for NFTs. There was a demand for this, for that. And a lot of those things have gone away because it's like, oh, nobody wants to spend money on that. And, what's that, Justin Bieber's NFT that somebody gifted him or something like that was at one point 1.7 million, and I think it's worth like I forget like how many hundreds or thousands of dollars it's worth now. But just keep that in mind. Some things are probably not the cat's meow, so they're not the priority. However, me, the angle that I've always kind of looked at was how we have Grok on X, and we're all here on X. And there's Grok images, there's Grok videos, and Grok's they're starting to build all kinds of cool stuff with Grok. Eventually, there's going to be video games. Earlier today, I seen this badass fucking video somebody put together with music. And I was like, wow, that's cool. And my biggest thing is if, hopefully maybe we can catch their attention to someday they catch on and like, you can tokenize those and you can sell them and generate revenue on the platform, transaction sales or whatever, like you can add royalties. And that's, I know like even right now there's crypto's a niche market on X. Like, so the amount of people that actually are into crypto on X is very small compared to the rest of the world that uses X. That's not, not in crypto. And same thing with these AI images and videos. But, I hope that we kind of like put it out there that this can be done and that, if it's not X, that it's the next platform or some other platform that picks it up and implements it. And I really do think it's going to be like a first to market, first mover advantage. And I think once somebody sees it and does it and they see that because we look at X not too long ago, and I pay attention to what's going on X. Not too long ago, they were talking about how their ad revenue was kind of upside down, and they were like, it wasn't generating money, and that's why you see a lot of the changes. And so I think that once they catch on to like, oh, you can do that, you can. But I think the challenge is that Elon Musk likes Doge, but I don't think they'll ever add these protocols that we've added to Digibyte, and maybe he'll never take a look at Digibyte or DigiAssets or DigiID, but I think that if we continue to put stuff out there, that somebody from some platform will say, hey, you know what, I'll use that, I'll implement that, I'll integrate it into our login or into our whatever our build a marketplace. So. And I'll get off my soapbox here, but man, I would love to see something similar to what Renzo has, DigiNexum Trade, but maybe it's like the marketplace for Grok assets, Grok NFTs or whatever, and they do basically everything that Renzo's platform does. And I've said this many times, and I'll keep saying this. The way that I think that we get our foot in the door is, we get people to go to these Grokathons. And they develop apps and they introduce them, and the prize winners usually get featured on X. I use this example, when you hit the like button and then the little rocket that goes off or the turkeys, that was from a Grokathon. Somebody won a Grokathon, and that was, they implement different little themes into the like button. And so, anyways. I think that's possible. I'm a little crazy in my head thinking, I believe in that, we can do this. But, when, right now, while we're waiting for, 9.26 to release, there could be other things done to get Digibyte out there to, the tech. And once, 9.26 releases, once, we're going to have to wait for activation. But, I think that
sounds great, man. That sounds great. I'm excited about it. I actually see you cornered the market in puppies and kittens over here on Digi Assets a long time ago. It's like checking them all out while you're talking. But hey, Renzo, man, you got your hand up. What do you got going on, man?
Yeah, I just want to get back to what Jose mentioned a few minutes ago about the work we do. It's for everyone. Matthew Cornelius released version 3 of DG Assets, and and basically anyone could use it, and anyone could implement the protocol on their end. At the beginning, we used to have a marketplace called DG Asset X, where there were all these fun and projects and cool interaction that we had with assets, not just automated vendors, but also auctions and lotteries and stuff. And life happens, and that website had to go down. But that's when I launched DigiNexon.trade in order to enable a new place for DG assets to exist. And Matthew that didn't have to, or wasn't involved with this project, but his technology was the seed for it, was the core for it, and so runs at that core with it. So the library that I built, Digibyte.js, it's another tool that anyone can use, even to build the Nexon.trade competitor, or a future competitor that may have. And it can be done or can be built with the tools that I've myself put out there. So yeah, those tiny pieces of gift that we make the community are what on the long term make us bigger. Not just the initiative that were recycled, but all the new stuff or the adaptations that we made to current technology is what, well, on the long run, once again, builds something great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Is there somewhere that they're what's the word for looking? I understand they're developing. Is there somewhere they're like looking for testers, feedback? It sounds like a couple of us at least, I know myself included, DigiAssets is primarily what brought me to the space, and it sounds like there's a couple other people interested in it and has some ideas of things they could potentially do with it. What are the chances of, or what would be the best way to forward some of those inputs, ideas, or flushing out if, for example, certain things are even possible? Like, I got a couple ideas, but like, I don't know if they'd be possible. Like, I'm trying to think of an example real quick of something. Like, I assume there's some parameters of what you can do with Digi assets. So, like, it sounds.
Yeah,
I thought
the
part. So
assets,
let me just start. Oh, good.
yeah, the assets are different from ERC tokens on Ethereum. The main difference is that ERC tokens runs on a virtual machine, on the Ethereum virtual machine, and those are Turing complete, which means it basically can do whatever you like. And you can code it as you can code any program or any system. But also that opened the door to human error, to bugs, to exploits that can be unknowingly or knowingly inserted into the code. The ESs provide a more limited framework, sure, but it provides enough rules to make the assets like usable on the currently industry standard concept. It doesn't restrict it because, well, in the future it can be a version 4 DG asset that includes more rules. I know that at least there are a couple of these rules that will, or that are not yet developed, but they're like the grounds for them and are set it on the source code. I've seen it. So yeah. So right now I need to help out because I do have a meeting from work. But yeah, if you can like maybe talk with host and just to or well, I don't know, just ping me if you have another space coming up. Sure, we can discuss what the assets or each type of the asset can do, because they're like in the same way that there are RC20, RC30, or 45, or 120, or something like that. There are different numbers of ERC tokens. There are also different kind of assets that behave a little bit different from each other, and that can, well, put you on track on what they can be used for.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking some sort of like if they can either be attached to some sort of like on-chain, we'll call it, like I said, I'm just kind of spitballing here, accomplishment, if you will, or if they could be attached to like a time lock where they would be available, or they're minted, pre-minted, and the user can only access them after a certain period.
I mean, Digibyte already have a time lock capability, So therefore, if you encode a DG asset in one of these UTXOs, then yeah, sure, I think it should be possible. I haven't tried, I must admit. But if the time block capabilities are built into Digibyte in the Digibyte scripts, then sure, DG assets inherited from it. So you guys, sorry, I'm hopping off. I hope I see you anytime now. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll be aware if any another space comes up.
all right. Well, hey, thanks for coming on, man. Really appreciate it, and putting a voice to your profile photo there. And yeah, I'm super pumped up. I definitely want to do some content about the Digi assets and learn a lot more how we can utilize it. So the swag thing you got going on, Master, that is a Digi asset. Is that what that is? That's from Digi Swag is a Digi asset. Am I saying that right? Everybody's out there.
Hey, Master of Leadership, you guys are there?
Yes. I'm sorry. I thought I was talking. I was on mute. Yes.
Oh, so Digi Swag is a Digi asset.
Yes.
That's interesting. All right. And so you created an asset and then you assigned so many tokens that asset is, and then you took that and developed your whole site around it. Is that generally what I'm saying?
Correct.
Okay.
But I'm going to talk about the tokenomics. There's 100 million DigiSwag. Only 15 million has been allocated to the platform. So 15 million is being stored for people to be able to withdraw and deposit. Now, the inflation is only happening on the platform. So platform tokens are not exchangeable for one whole DigiSwag. It's exchangeable for whatever the rate is on the website. So right now you get about, I want to say 20 DigiSwag on a platform for every DigiSwag you put on the platform. So if you bring in external DigiSwag, then you get more DigiSwag for the DigiSwag that you bring. And if you withdraw, it's reduced by the inflation. So for an example, if I went to go withdraw 1 million DigiSwag off the platform, it would only be a couple thousand real DigiSwag.
All right, cool. Well, I think I got a lot of information here to wrap my head around and think about, because I don't come from the coding background like a lot of you guys do. So that's cool. What do you got, AJ? You got anything, man?
Hey, so I don't know if Jose's still around, but I don't know. Hey, Jose, if you're still there, if Dennis got in touch with you. I'm trying to submit a PR, but I don't know how to do it, so I figured I'd ask Dennis. There's something I want to say, but I can't say it. Still haven't got the approvals in the background, Adam, so fuck. I'm working on something else too, but I can't say much. But aside from that, you guys, there is a lot of good stuff coming up. I would like to add right now that we are in need of 5 more oracles. We are on track to launch at 35 price oracles, but we do need 5 more. So for those of you guys that are out there that just stepped in or that have been listening, we are definitely in need of price oracles. Actually, Master of Leadership, have you considered, I don't know if you're in it, but have you considered becoming a price oracle?
But right now, I don't have the ability to keep it up. I just don't. I'm trying to manage what I'm got going on here. So I don't want to put too much on myself as far as trying to learn how to put an oracle up and not be available for it. It's just too last minute for me, but I would love to support the DigiDollar initiative in any way I can. Just the Oracle, I just can't commit to that right now.
So actually, I would ask you, since, I feel like I understand DigiAssets, I'm still going to go back and listen to everything we talked about and break it down as best as I can for myself also. But, I don't know if you're aware, but the page DigiDollar Awareness hosts a weekly bounty. It's called DigiDollar Creators Bounty, where, I'm asking of the community to create videos to have consistency in the YouTube algorithm. And as you can see, in the comments today, and Adam posted an article today in Medium. The idea is to cite sources, start cross-chaining different algos, to get us, in a better trend. So I was going to ask, what are your thoughts on possibly creating a DigiAsset video if that's possible? For more people to chime in. And then I guess another question, which is, I guess it would be playing devil's advocate, but someone asked me in DMs, like, at what point does DigiAssets become a distraction instead of more so a help to what we're actually have going on right now? If you want to answer that.
Well, we have to realize that Digibyte is a public utility. It's meant to be built on. And it's not about distracting us from what's going on. It's just about being innovative in every aspect of this technology. And, we're all going to gravitate to what we find interesting. Not everybody's going to gravitate to DigiDollar. That's just the truth, because it's very technical. You have to have a core wallet. A lot of people in the places that I talk to don't even have internet 24/7. Better yet, electricity. So, the market that I target are people who are trying to get into crypto but don't know how, or don't have the wherewithal or financial ability. But DigiDollar is there for people who are prominent in the community. I will use DigiDollar. I definitely will be mentioning DigiDollar. So, I don't think participating in one aspect of the marketplace prevents you from being able to gravitate into others. But markets are defined by people, and Digibyte is for everybody. And so we should be targeting everybody. So we shouldn't be so caught up on the technical all the time, when the reality is this technology was built for mankind. So we need to start thinking about bigger ways to be more innovative and inclusive. And, it's not about distracting from DigiDollar. It's about making Digibyte the best blockchain out there and educating people on why it is. So yeah, I get you, because, when I first joined this space, I was very like gung-ho on Digibyte, nothing else. But it's about building. It's about utility. It's about transactions. It's about usage. And DigiAssets is just another layer of technology on Digibyte. You need Digibyte to make a DigiAsset. You need Digibyte to send a DigiAsset. A DigiAsset transaction counts as a transaction on the Digibyte network. So it all helps with the utility. It just makes sense to build with everything. And as we grow and we become more wealthy, we're going to want to find ways to invest in developing in the third world. And that's why I'm planting the seeds now of getting an app out that the third world can use without any friction. And so, I get you guys. I do. But I've been in this space since 2018. I've been in the Bitcoin space since 2017. I've been with Digibyte since 2018. And nothing like DigiSwag has ever been thought of, because it's always been about us being the nerds. Like, we always been the nerds of the industry, because we always focused on the tech. But now it's time to build and create our empire. And I think it's really important that we create alternative things to Digibyte that can help foster more utility. And that's why I created that meme coin, because I know people think, well, Digibyte's so affordable. Why do you need an alternative coin? It's not about using it as an alternative coin. It's about understanding that Solana has thousands of meme coins. It's a marketplace, and we're not doing any old type of meme coin. Our meme coin only has 100 million tokens, and the platform is practically giving away free cryptocurrency to people who learn about Digibyte. So it's a win-win. It's not about making any money or getting rich. It's about continually spreading education so people break the barriers of getting in this technology. Because I'm telling you, once you learn what this is, once you sit down and learn what this is, Digibyte becomes a part of your lifestyle. And I've witnessed it. I've witnessed people go from being novice to being expert in Digibyte and understanding that the future is with Digibyte, right? So let's go ahead and build. Let's build projects. I encourage anybody to build. I will help you. I will support you. I will help provide you with any knowledge I know. If you want to build, let's build. I'm not a developer. I can't code, but I made a website. I made an app. So it is possible to do things in this industry that are innovative and different. And one thing that's different is creating some fun. Because Digibyte has not been fun. I remember when I would try to have fun, it was always price, price, price. You talk about price. Don't talk about this. Don't talk. Like, let's just talk about the technology and how fun it is to use. You know, when you use Bitcoin, that 10 minutes is breathtaking. Like, you be like, did I do it right? Did I do it right? You know, with Digibyte, that 15 seconds is a relief. So people want that. People want to see that. And I just want to continue to educate people on that. Because this whole message that Bitcoin is the future is just a joke. Because who wants dial-up internet when you can have high speed? And so until they're ready to listen to us, we should just continue to build.
Sweet, sweet. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, dude. That's the idea, right? Like, that's another reason why I love making these spaces. You know, I joined in, early, been like maybe 6 to 8 months, and I've gotten to take in and learn a lot of stuff in a very short time. And the idea with these spaces is to be able to connect with the community and get us to understand why other projects come about and the ideal behind it, right? Because if there's a better understanding as to why someone created a protocol and why they felt the need that this is something that Digibyte was missing, it is crucial for us as a community to, I guess, champion around that and make sure that it doesn't go unseen. I do agree with, like, right, like, it's not necessarily just about, the acknowledgement of whoever did it, because as we all know, we're truly volunteered and it's completely decentralized. It kind of goes, I guess it kind of goes a little missing, right? Because, like, we'll do stuff and it's kind of hard to, I guess, well, I don't think it's hard, but it's kind of a thing that we all just keep building. We kind of move forward and no one really gets the acknowledgement. But I guess this will be one of the better ways to kind of sit here in this space and everybody riff off of their ideas and come to an understanding as to why certain protocols, I guess, matter more than others. Not to say that certain do matter more than others. It's just more so touching base and helping build as a community to make sure that we're on the right page,
Right. One thing I'll say is, community equity. And I said something about that earlier about Adam, how he came into the community just recently and he's built all this equity. That's powerful. That's why I love this community, because we're so embracing of people who truly, truly want to see Digibyte be successful. And I'm one of those people, right? And my ways are not always conventional, but hey, I think I've dedicated my life to Digibyte. And, if people support DigiSwag, I'm happy. But DigiSwag is going to be successful. It's going to be successful because I'm going to make sure that it is. which means that there's no incentive other than to see Digibyte be successful. So I don't want to discourage anybody from participating in one thing versus the other. I want to encourage everybody to just see value in everything, because everything is about Digibyte. Like DigiDollar, DigiSwag, Digibyte Awareness Team. All of these initiatives are created to empower the Digibyte holder. And I've been around for years. I used to hold spaces. I used to really be active on posting on Twitter almost every day. If you check, I have over 100,000 tweets. If you search my tweets, you'll see that I probably said 90% of that in Digibyte. Community equity is where we start. And I feel like I have that community equity, but I kind of drew it away from Twitter to do some more invasive intervention, because like for the last 3 years I've been on broadcasting platforms, Bigo, LiveMe, and TikTok, growing the community of Digibyte. It's been very expensive, but I've grown thousands of new Digibyte users, people who truly see value in Digibyte, and I'm proud of that, because not everybody has converted souls to this technology. And then I know there's people I can call right now and we can have a full out Digibyte conversation, and it's because I introduced it to them and they found value in it. And that's what brings me joy. Seeing people see value in Digibyte like I do. And I know how to convert people. I do. It's repetition. And one thing is, this app, it doesn't scare people. It encourages people. When you look at an article about Digibyte, it's discouraging, especially when there's knowledge gaps. When you don't know or understand the language, the technicalities, it can be a little difficult. So that's why I wanted to create an avenue for people to jump in and build that courage to learn, because learning is change, and change is hard.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how dedicated you are, man. Like, you have the whole African Community Association that you created. What was that called?
It's called
the name of it?
Africa Awareness Initiative.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So I encourage everybody here, or anybody who's going to listen to this spaces later, to check out what you're doing and join, because I joined it twice now. I think I joined in the conversation and what you're doing, and you had like 50 people in there in your community. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and most of us are on that app. There's over 388 people on that app.
That's awesome.
So, and those are real people. Like, there's no fictitious. Maybe a couple people made a couple accounts, but it's real people on that app. When you get on the app, you'll see the people in action. So I'm excited, and I've just been praying to God to guide me on how to make this work for me. So that, because like this community has been in my pocket, and I've been finding ways to show them off to the whole world, so that they see that poverty is real, especially in the third world. But money and access should not limit people from participating in blockchain. I don't feel that is the key. That's why Digibyte is here. And that's why I made a post today about the price. Like, the price is beautiful right now for the average person to be able to take less risk and get involved in blockchain and a promising technology, not one that's just stagnant, sitting around being average. So.
Oh man, I think that's awesome. I know I was taking a look at the node map on Digibyte.io, and I know this, like, there's not too many nodes in your region of the world, and so it's just a lot of people just don't have the computers to be able to set up a core wallet. You think that's the challenge?
It's not computers, it's electricity the cost of internet. See, in the
Yeah.
third world, they subscribe to internet. So the internet is not unlimited. And then also the power grid is bad in Nigeria and all over Africa. So a lot of countries don't get 24-hour light. So they don't really have the ability to connect the node. So what some people do is they'll redirect their node from Africa. So you do see a couple nodes there, but most of those nodes probably aren't Africans. It's probably people who are just using IP addresses in those regions.
I see.
Yeah.
Man. Well, I think, man, I can only imagine. I guess I'm just been lucky and privileged not to have that same experience that they're having, man. So
Yeah, it's difficult. I'm a sociologist by heart. I studied sociology in undergrad. I got my bachelor's in social work and then my bachelor's in sociology, and then I got my master's in leadership. And one thing you learn as a sociologist is that sometimes you got to pull your sleeves up, get in the dirt with everyone else. And so a lot of people don't understand why I took a vow of poverty, but I took a vow of poverty for Digibyte. And it's finally going to be over on my 41st birthday. But I took a vow of poverty for the last 3 years where I lived on scraps to give to others. So I'll be building my Digibyte back up. I'll be pulling my bootstraps back up and getting myself back into a better financial situation because now I won't be in this vow of poverty. But I wanted to take it because I wanted to invest in people, and I think I did that. And now I think it's just time that we all invest in each other and start building. And I'm telling you, it's been put before me. I believe in the divine source that Digibyte is going to make us very wealthy. And so we don't want to be bored. So let's do some fun stuff. We don't have to be a meme coin casino, but having one meme coin or 2 or 3 meme coins that truly create community or create initiative in the community is great because we support Digibyte 100% because that's why we built our crypto on it. It's the best crypto out there. Like nothing beats it to me. And I'm just proud to say that I've been a part of this community for almost a decade and we're still building. Like I know that if I'm in my corner, someone's in another corner, we're all building. Like Jose, knowledge source, right? You guys are coming into the space so new, but just running. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see people just genuinely care about Digibyte and nothing else. And that's just where I'm at. It's hard to find. And when we gravitate to each other, it's magnetic and it's also powerful because the synergy that we create from bringing together ideas, concepts, and we build with them. Like Jose talked about trying to get in touch with Twitter or X about minting NFTs on growth. That's such a great innovative idea. And I love that he's dreaming big because the dreams I have, I can't speak out loud about them because it might scare some people.
Well, man, you are definitely the most passionate Digibyte member out there for sure. But I'm going to have to hop off soon because I'm getting all my Life 360 messages. My family's pulling up soon. But I did drop you a tip, man. I dropped you 500 DGB to you, man. Appreciate what you're doing, and didn't realize you took that pledge like you just described. So, and kudos to you on that one.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then I know there's a lot of good things happening behind the scenes. And I have my fingers crossed and my toes crossed, and that some of these things that are taking place do come through. It's going to be wonderful news for the community when they do. And then just today we had a stablecoin company reach out and made some comments on X to Digibyte Coin about wanting to know more about the DigiDollar, and they want to get into the nitty and gritty with us. But we invited them to join the X Spaces, but I don't think they showed up. Maybe they did earlier, but I don't know. I wasn't here earlier, but maybe there's a chance that we can get them on a TG Telegram private chat. Is maybe something we have to do, but they do have an open invitation to jump into our X Spaces. But they're a legit, based on what I'm seeing, a legit stablecoin company. And if they're showing they made a couple posts about it, so they're definitely interested, and they think they're at the point where they're going to want to talk to developers so I think that's really exciting seeing that today. So and then there's definitely interest happening behind the scenes. So I even got a message from Koinami that it's on their roadmap. So that was pretty cool to see that. Yeah.
Wait, what's on his roadmap?
Koinami mentioned it's on their roadmap to, I don't know, to put the DigiDollar on the Koinami wallet. It's definitely, they made a comment, it's on their roadmap, but they ended it with, we'll see in the comments. So it's still, until we launch, until it's a reality, it's always going to be a we'll see. And we're getting really close. Jared Tate just made a post that we're just short 5 more oracles. I'm going to try to set one up in my office.
31 of them.
So I got an extra laptop.
Oh, okay. It is fine.
You need an extra laptop, man?
So ideally, you probably wouldn't want to be a price oracle with a laptop. We spoke about this earlier, just because of the battery situation. Those things can bubble up and pretty much catch on fire since you're running it 24/7.
Yeah.
But other than that, there is a lot of good news. Adam and I and a lot of the community members in the back, master of leadership. I know that you spoke about always back in the day, you guys would mention price. And one of the things that I guess I really focus on here is I kind of tell everybody not to mention anything about price, only because of, there is a lot of work that's actually being done, as you could see even yourself with DigiSwag token, Johnny building Digiscope.me, Dennis with the wallet, and Renzo working on, DigiNexum and stuff. A lot of those things are much more in, I feel, the dark than they should be highlighted. And I think that's what, I aim to do here with the DigiDollar awareness space. And I'm holding on to some juice right now, you guys, and I'm itching to tell you. And I'm sure Adam probably feels the same way, but unfortunately we can't do that. But what I can tell you guys out there, and for the first time I'm going to mention this, if you aren't fucking buying Digibyte, bro, at this price, you must be crazy.
Yeah. I'm not saying nothing else. I'm with you, man. If you've been in this space and you're complaining about the price, obviously no one can guarantee, price appreciation as much as we'd all like to, but if you believe in this project and at these prices, if you're not behind something, I think I've made a couple joking posts, it was a couple weeks ago, for 1 penny you can buy 6 Digibyte or 3 Digibyte, your personal share for 1 penny. I don't, everyone's gonna how it is. Eventually everyone has excuses long term on why I didn't buy it, I didn't know. No. You a couple of bucks goes a long way right now. So for those people that are financially challenged and that sort of thing, think outside the box. I get that, certain opportunities may not be there for everybody, but a little bit of scraping by might go a long way, at this time.
Yeah, I even picked up I was at the bleachers at a sporting event for my daughter, and there was like a quarter underneath the bleachers, and I was like, man, that quarter is pretty hard to get, but I can get a lot of digibytes for that 25 cents. So like everybody's like looking at me like I'm crazy as I'm like diving for this change underneath the bleacher. I'm like, hell yeah, I got 25 cents worth of digibyte. And
That's 80 digibyte, dude. I need a calculation every time in my head I see something like that. I'm like, that's like 85 digibyte right there.
right, so it's like, yeah, everything every time I order something, maybe a drink at the restaurant or something, I'm like, oh man, I can have water, and I could take that, $2 soda or $3 soda and get some digibytes with it. So it's kind of funny. But all right, well, I'm gonna hop off, guys. You guys have a great night.
Adam, it's always a pleasure hearing from you and seeing you. Thank you for the tip. I appreciate you
Yeah,
very
anytime.
much.
See you guys.
Hey, Adam, thanks for joining the space, dude. That was awesome, man. You have a good night, dude. Another thing, you guys, yeah, like we're mentioning, right? Like, at an all-time high, I'm doing this DD Creators Bounty, and right now, weekly, you have the potential to win basically 6,000 DGB. At the time of all-time high, 6,000 DGB was almost $1,100. Those are things that we always got to keep in mind. Like, I look at 500 DGB or 100 DGB, and I'm looking at it since I've been holding since 2017, and I rode the waves all the way up to, that 18 cents and, purchasing and DCAing at the time. And I go back and look at it now, and it's like, damn, dude, at one time I was buying, $1,000 every other day, and it was basically what DigiDollar awareness is giving out, so just keep that in mind, you guys, that once we do drop DigiDollar and the community starts doing, the rolling locks and stuff like that, the scarcity is going to be a real thing. Price action, right? While it's not guaranteed, right? Nothing is guaranteed in life, but one thing's for sure. Once those locks start to come happen, that Digibyte is not going to be available for you to purchase. It's just the fact of the matter. Whether those are 30-day locks to 6 months to 10-year locks, the truth is that you won't be able to buy Digibyte if the community starts to do rolling locks. And who's to say that, again, like I always mention, I have a strong feeling that once the miners switch over to the consensus, and, those guys are going to be the first ones to not let go of that Digibyte. I have a strong feeling that the miners will be the first ones to really initiate lockups and hold on to that Digibyte as long as they can, seeing as to, halving happens 1% every month. And, as we all know, the last Digibyte will be mined in 2035. So I don't see miners getting rid of DGB. I just don't see it. I see them
Why
as
did I not think
immediately.
of the miners? Holy cow. Oh no. Oh
Yeah,
no.
dude.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, that game is different, dude. That level is different. And, I've mentioned it before. I try not to say much about it, but I really,
And not only just that, the DigiDollar brings a different dynamic to the fact that the selling pressure is going to be taken off of Digibyte and then put on an alternative asset, DigiDollar. And you can't manipulate that price because it's stable. So like the manipulation is either going to be shown more robustly because the price is manipulated. We know that. But when people truly are not selling Digibyte anymore, you're going to see the players out loud. Like it's just, I think it's going to come to a realization that Digibyte has been suppressed because nobody really wants to sell their Digibyte. And when people lock it up, it's no point of selling anymore because now if you need liquidity, you can just borrow. And first of all, it's a non-taxable event, which means that you no longer have to worry about a capital gains tax. And on top of that, you still hold your keys. You still hold your crypto. And, I've had over at least 30 million Digibytes slip through my hands. And if I could have converted those into time locks and DigiDollars, I would still be a wealthy Digibyte man right now.
I think Jared said something similar in his videos. Life comes up and you got to sell your stuff. And I didn't think about the miners. And if miners typically sell to fund operations, so if they're able to tap into that capital, yeah, that sense finishes itself right there. I was curious if just kind of for those that have media pages, kind of jump into a little tangent here. Have you guys noticed an uptick in engagement, views, that sort of thing over just the last 48 hours? Because I certainly have. I was just curious if anyone else saw.
Yo, dude, absolutely, bro. The DigiDollar awareness page for the first time, I've never ever seen it, so I don't have to check. But it said, it said I had over 100,000.
Okay. Yeah, because I was getting a handful a day. I've only had my pages up for a handful of weeks now, and it was a handful of views every couple of days, and it was steadily increasing. And then just yesterday, the day before, it quadrupled, dupled. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Oh, we got to get to cranking and keep the momentum going because people are looking, people are searching.
Yeah, and that is the truth, dude. That's the thing. We don't, and like YC mentioned before, we really don't even know who's looking. It might be a big protocol out there that is probably getting frustrated with working in the ethos that they're working and maybe just never got a chance to find Digibyte, or for whatever reason just decided to spend most of his time over there. But as you guys can see, like I mentioned before, the blueprint works, and as long what really matters here is as a community, we have to keep consistency and again, try to work together as best as we can and cite our sources, right? Make sure that we're cross-referencing each other, with Master of Leadership. We have him joining us today now here in the space. That's a big thing. You get OGs, like I mentioned in one of the last spaces. So as soon as you start to get these OGs, and I'm sure Master of Leadership, forgive me if I'm not trying to sound, like you're not in the space. I'm well aware that you are, but this branch that we're organically building, it can't be shunned, dude. That's what it comes down to. X might try to shun it all they want, but the truth of the matter is that we're getting actual views. There's some real traction behind us. And what's crazy is we haven't even launched mainnet. Just, you guys take that in consideration. My page, for instance, it's over 100,000 people have interacted in this page, dude, which is insane. And it doesn't make sense because I have 550 something followers. Again, I don't really know how this works. And like I've always mentioned to you guys, I'm probably never gonna, tell people to follow me or any of that shit. I honestly just want you guys to grab the information that this page does. And I always mention that you guys can copy it, take it. My whole idea here is, in and out, we're in with flooding the internet with, information. And then again, the idea is to share it in the most digestible way for everybody's, viewing. And we're doing that, dude. We are doing that. The blueprint works, and they're going to try to shun us. And, we do know that the market is going to go through a spiral. That's one thing that I know Green talks about it a lot. And, while it's quite generally, it wouldn't be good for, number wise, but it isn't the fact of the matter that that's not true. We are going to see a crazy, well, I believe if you still believe in the 4-year cycle, we have to see Bitcoin go down to a pretty much what we would call a scary number, right? And then since everybody is coupled, we do know that that's going to fall to a crazy number. But it's not to say that us Digibyte, we aren't busy. I mean, it's very evident that we are super busy, dude. There's building going on left and right. And look, you guys, we lifted up, we're at 21 oracles. We're only 5 away from mainnet. I mean, it's, and how quick it's happened. And it's not just that, it's when we raised the Digiform AI bounty, and in less than 3 days, we had, as a community, raised 1 million DGB, to get Digiswarm and Jared going, and look how that's paid out, dude. That's paid out a ton. I guess, I know maybe some people around haven't seen it all the way, but if you're in Gitter, you are very well aware that, that fund that we raised, really went a long way for us. So yeah, you guys, I'm excited to what's to come. And like Master Leadership mentioned, the idea is to keep ourselves busy, keep the tech as obviously the primary focus, but also educate, right? But make the holders become educators, because once we become educators, bro, we become a lethal community. I know I always mention that. I kind of always like just kind of repeat that more so, but it's the truth, bro. Once the community becomes a bonded community, which again, like I always mention, it's going to take a long time, and everything through its steps, and we're all decentralized. We're all volunteers. So aside from all the worldly things that we all have going on in our real world life, it's really impressive where we're at. It really is super impressive where we're at, and at the pace that we're moving, dude, like we're moving at a rapid pace that, again, keep in mind, no one here is making money. Everybody's doing this out of their own will. We're just coming. We have a belief. We all have a collective belief. And as these communities keep growing and as more OGs start to come in, you give that new perspective for the new onboarders. Like, for instance, Digibyte Daily, I don't know how long you've been a holder, bro, but you are a new face to the community, and you came immediately with an impact. And it's, and that's a beautiful thing, right? It's beautiful to see that a community member is willing to come in, not only create a page that literally dedicates itself to the Digibyte brand and education, but also chime in on the spaces and vocalize some of, his critiques, his opinions, and his experience in whatever field he has. And that's what we're slowly starting to bridge here. And it's exciting, dude. And that's another thing that should keep people on their toes outside of our ethos. Like, look what's going on here, dude. This is an organic growth. This is not something where you see bots. You see other communities. There's 50 bots just spamming fucking emojis, and none of them interact. They come in, they leave, and they don't have none of that. I've been, and again, I don't know how true the analytics are for this space, and I'm never one for numbers, but I realize that the community does like hearing this in general on the DigiDollar awareness spaces that we've been doing. And again, I've been trying to stay as consistent as possible, try to do a little bit more frequent spaces, but we're pulling in about 75 to 79 live listeners, you guys. Like, people are actively sitting here listening to the conversations that we have, and they're getting something out of it, dude, because if they weren't getting something out of it, then I wouldn't be seeing a 79, almost close to 100 listeners that are live in the space. And we also average about 8 to 10 speakers, which is, again, you guys keep in mind, for where we're at, where the crypto space is looking, right? There's definitely fear in the market. And as we all know, economically, the world is pretty hard right now. And to see us come together, be able to build, be able to understand exactly what each community member is building, and start to riff off of each other to help, spread the message in the most educated way. And, but then again, also, like Master Leadership said, one of my biggest things here is, like, it can't feel like a job. And that's what we're getting. That's what it's giving. That's literally what Digibyte's been giving. This isn't a job for us, dude. This is something that we believe. And because we believe, it feeds the soul, which out of nature becomes really fun to just work with a community. Obviously, like I've mentioned before, Jose and I, we've talked, there's aggravations. You're never going to get along with everybody. But again, that's the beauty of being decentralized, that while we might have different opinions, we all know that the belief is the same, and we all know that we have to stay consistent and keep the messaging going. And we're all on the same goal, dude. We're all on the same goal to create this parallel economy. That's what we aim, right? We can't fix world wars. We can't fix all the other fucking bullshit that's going on in the world, but we can fix one thing that we do know, which is this parallel economy that keeps dumbing down our pockets and keeps, it's keeping the richer richer and the poorer poor. That's just what it comes down to. So, yeah, hey, Green, I don't know if you're there, if you feel like chiming in. I know that Green's probably been enjoying this, and I'd like to give a shout out to Green. I know Master Leadership, you've been doing these spaces for a long time too, but, thanks to Green, he encouraged me to come on these spaces and feel comfortable to speak. And I always like to thank him, dude, because quite frankly, I've been a Digibyte holder in the background, but if it weren't for him, kind of keeping the trend, keeping it out, I wouldn't have fallen into where I'm at now with the spaces and just generally feeling good about just, and enjoying time and riffing off of the community members, if you guys get my drift. And sorry if I go on tangents, but my bad, you guys. I get really passionate about Digib.
What's up?
Yo, what's up, YC? What's up, Green?
Yo, we're getting those oracles, man. We're at like 31 now.
Hey, yo, YC, can I spill the beans on this or nah?
Yeah, go for it, man. I would.
All right, dude. You guys, I wouldn't say it's a revamp. It's more like a comeback from being a little bit quiet. But we are revamping the Digibyte integration paper. Well, it's not really a revamp. It's just like a little bit of a newer look. And, we're working on something else, but that's as far as I'm going to say. So we have a new integration paper that you guys should be able to see. I'm hoping by tomorrow. I have, the DigiDollar awareness page, was able to, do a couple things there. It is not AI. So for those of you guys that are looking there, those are hand drawings. I have a tablet and spend a good chunk of time doing some of those drawings. And, it's just a new look, at some things that we have to attack because like I mentioned before, while a lot of people, aren't too into the exchanges and the dexes, it all comes down to a lot of these people just love optics and the clout, right? So one of the first things that I believe, and again, this is my opinion, is, our marketing has, been a little bit on the older side. And I think this is one of the steps forwards that we're taking to try to get a different image out there. And again, that's another testament to what we're doing. Like, think about it, you guys. We're revamping integration papers, giving a new look. And again, we keep doing things that are different. So I hope you guys take this, Digibyte integration, the DigiDollar awareness created or revamped, and look at it as, a new look and a new, how do I explain this, you guys? Like, we're just different this time around. That's like the best way I could put it. We're different. We're moving different. And it's just the truth, bro. We have the DigiDollar. We've never had something like this, not let alone in Digibyte, but in crypto in general. There's never been a over-collateralized, decentralized, stable-backed coin that you yourself can mint to a core wallet. It doesn't exist. And we're always one step ahead, and that's where I felt that I needed to input my expertise was in that marketing aspect to keep us one step ahead. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about that or anything like that, I'm working on other things, but those I can't say about.
Yeah, you did a great job on that. So I think the process from here will be that you'll need to. Dennis has worked on a lot of our PRs through Jose and I. So you can have Dennis create a PR, give him that new integration guide. Actually give him the physical PDF or whatever you have, and then he can create a PR to update the integration guide on the main website. And then once, I know Jose's on the call, but time permitting, he and I will review it. I think you can even review it. One of us can just review it too, because it's a website change. It's just an update. So once that's done, it should be reflected on the main website. So great job on that. And that was something I also mentioned in a couple of spaces ago, is there's plenty of stuff on our main website to work through, right? I mean, we have an info paper, we have the integration guide with which AJ you tackled. There's also videos on there, like the What is Digibyte video. Although it is a good video, it's like 4 or 5 years old. Josiah is no longer here. So I would encourage people that know how to take that content, and repurpose it and make it updated, because there's been a lot more updates that we've had on the protocol level, and in the community in general, to put in that video. And the best thing is obviously if it's professional and it's done well, then it can be on that main website. So, but there's other things on there too, I'm sure, that need updating or, kind of a cursory look. So, that's another thing, as AJ was saying, is optics are very, very key. And we want to make sure we have the most up-to-date current information about what's going on, because we just don't know who's watching. And it also gives a perception that if it's not updated, it's like, is there any work really being done on this? And we need to eliminate that. Yeah, and the other good thing, I mean, just I don't know if you guys already talked about this, but there is a company, I think they're called Ramp, and they have been. I sent them Jared's video on DigiDollar. They looked into it. They're interested. They do like fiat on ramps for a whole bunch of cryptos, and so they looked at stuff, and now they want to ask more detailed questions about volume, liquidity, pairings, et cetera. And I told them to come to one of your spaces, AJ, because this is probably the best place for them to get all that information. They had questions about like what wallet providers are going to be supporting it, and a whole bunch of other things. So hopefully we can get those guys on, because I think we are a pretty educated bunch, and we could probably tell them a lot of specifics and give them a good gauge of where we're at and what we're planning to do. And the other thing, Green, I tell you, this is kudos to Green. You recommended pool operators trying to be price oracles. Well, we got one of the pool operators is now a miner. That's hashed max unity. And there's another pool operator that I'm talking to. He's been a big fan of Digibyte. I'm trying to get him to be an oracle provider. And then I talked to like messaged 3 or 4 other pool operators. 2 of them had not even heard about what DigiDollar is. And one of them is probably one of the largest mining pool operators for Digibyte. So I sent him the videos. I also gave him the price oracle discussion. He said he's going to review it and get back to us. But, he may not be able to do it because if we fill the next 4 spots, it won't matter. So we'll kind of see what happens. But there's a lot going on. And every time we have these spaces, it's like, we got something new coming out every time. So we're constantly making progress and moving forward. So I would just encourage all of us to keep that momentum going. It's been really awesome, especially when the whole rest of the space is just completely crumbling.
Yeah, and that just shows, dude. That's another thing where I'm like, man, it's incredible to see, Whale always posts up all these chains, having hacked, getting attacked, a bunch of like just corruption going on, and then you see us just sitting here building and enjoying our time building, and it's a testament to what these spaces are. People are coming here and we all sound motivated. It would be a difference, right? Why see if it's just you and I just sit here and we have a conversation and that's as far as it goes. No, it's everybody comes in, inputs what they're working on, and that's a big thing, dude, for a community, to basically have the holders come in and say, hey man, this is what I picked up. This is what I feel that might be missing, and this is where I would like to help. And I think that's something that I think us as a community should definitely look at how to highlight more and just keep it as a more of a motivational thing, right? It's just like, it's a beautiful thing that a decentralized network can come together, fully volunteered, and just say, hey man, we have to, like Master of Leadership say, roll up our sleeves and just get to it, bro, because no one's going to sell the bag, dude. It's got to be us. And again, while, some people, Green's like, we don't want to talk about selling the bag. At the end of the day, that's what we're doing, bro. It really is what we're doing. We believe in this, and it's not just necessarily selling the bag, but it's also educating people on what the actual vision of crypto was meant to be, dude. Because we're the only ones in the ethos that's given that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I agree with that. Especially when you're seeing a lot of this. I don't know if you guys saw Jared's post, to Sailor about, if he had held DigiDollar. Granted, he's never going to do that, but it just shows you how much misinformation is in the space. And if you look at, I'm not here to talk bad about other protocols, but, most of this space has been, co-opted. The whole purpose of what crypto has been completely lost. And I feel like we're one of the few left in this space that have kept that purity of the vision. And it's been, I'm not going to lie, it's been painful. It's been tough. There's been a lot of ups and downs, but I can speak from my personal experience. Like, I haven't seen this much work and momentum and uplifting each other and, just conversations in a long, long time in Digibyte. And it's great. It almost feels like we're not even paying attention to the market dynamics. we shouldn't really care about it. And we're just constantly going every day. So, yeah, it's been really fantastic to see it. And I think it'll give people more encouragement. I mean, like I said, AJ, you doing this integration guide, it's a perfect example of like, you have talent around that, and no one's going to save us. No one's going to come and do it. It's up to us. So you took it on your own to do that, put your talent to work. And, I must say it's a great presentation. So, and that's just one example. You take the integration guide. Now it looks good. People, exchanges, vendors, now they have an up-to-date copy of what's going on. And they're like, yep, they've covered that. And there's many other areas that we can all participate to do that. And I think we'll all feel like, hey, psychologically too, when you start updating things and you check off the list, you feel like, wow, I have some part of this, that this chain is like kind of buttoned up another hole or area that might have been kind of a weak point. And it just gives you that much more comfort to think, man, this is just totally bulletproof. The technology's there. Now we just soup up all the documentation, all the other items. Then we start communicating to, involve other people, whether it's other platforms, vendors. There's marketing things we can do. And, getting on other YouTubers, commenting on X. I mean, it's just like I said, we've talked about this so many times, but it's worth repeating, and, like I said, it's only up to us, and that's it.
Well, the thing too is, we mentioned it a lot, but it's hard not to repeat it because we're seeing results. We're seeing the actions of it. Like we're seeing people like we mentioned before, dude. When I first joined in the spaces, there was no wallets. One of the biggest questions that I had is like, where are the wallets? Now we have like 4 wallets, and those are the things that makes the difference. It's like, yeah, we're busy, dude. We're just busy. And I think that's one thing the community, I think is slowly starting to get. And once the outside starts to realize how busy exactly Digibyte is, I think we're all going to see that momentum of, the riding the wave. And that's cool. We're going to get those. It's not to say that we still haven't been tied to what the soul of Digibyte is. And we've shown that as a community, dude. And right now we're bringing back the OGs, which is beautiful. And we're working together. It was great to see Renzo in the space today, helping us understand DigiAsset. And we're just moving forward. And again, the consistency is what matters, you guys. Consistency is what matters. If we aren't consistent, then, it's all great and dandy. But again, the message can only be pushed by us, the community. Obviously, builders are going to build, the developers are going to be around there, but it does fall down on us being that lethal community, that makes sure that we're on people's heels, And yeah, dude, I wanted to segue real quick to you guys. Please don't forget, under the post, while we do need more price oracles, there is also testnet. So I linked, there's links under this post for the Digibyte Core Wallet, which is a video that Jared put out, because remember, you guys, without the Digibyte Core Wallet, you will not be able to mint DigiDollars. So while we did mention there's a bunch of wallets out there for us to use, but the one that we all know is predominant is the Digibyte Core Wallet, because you won't be able to mint any DigiDollars if you do not have the Digibyte Core Wallet.
Self-custody right there, my friend. Oh, and by the way, I know, AJ, I don't want to interrupt you, but I don't want to forget this. I also reached out to, this is a side note we can talk about, but I did get in communication with Maya and, Maya Protocol. So we're, they're open to reopening that discussion if need be. We can talk about that offline, but wanted to just put that out there.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing I want to look at too. We're going to get to that, dude. I've talked to you in the background. I want to, I'm excited, dude. Well, even that, dude, that's exciting fucking news, bro.
Yeah, but it's like I said, man, like some of these conversations were years ago, and maybe we were not as prepared, or we didn't have a plan, or maybe we didn't have as many people that were, open to contributing. And, I think things have changed now, right? And what you said about being consistent, that's also consistent regardless of what you hear everywhere around you in the echo chamber, because all you hear about is doomsday. If you look hard enough, you'll find something negative. So it's important for us to keep lifting each other up and pressing forward. And that's what I said in the last spaces is like, if you come up with something or you're working on it, find someone you trust in the community to vet it out, see what their feedback is, get some encouragement. Maybe you get some constructive feedback and then push it through that. Because if you just, put it out publicly or, you get caught up in the noise, you're going to get discouraged. So it's important that although we're in an echo chamber of, crypto or even Digibyte, the best thing about us is because even with the circumstances, our morale and what we're doing is much higher than most. We should want to talk about this within our community because we'll get encouragement from that to keep pushing this stuff out. And it makes a difference. Every bit of it does. So sorry about that, AJ. I just wanted to say that.
Now you're good, dude. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, it's a fact, man. All right. You guys get her again on the topic of everything that I get my knowledge from, and if any questions that I have on releases for testnet and just how to become a price oracle, it's kind of really awesome that I think a lot of us don't, I want to say we kind of take for granted is to have a developer chat. How many of these other cryptos don't allow you to literally talk to their developers? I think that's something that community just keep in mind. You guys can join the Gitter and pretty much have a direct line to Jared there. Which is fucking crazy when you think about it. To have a direct line with someone creating the DigiDollar, bro. Like, so you guys go there and then Digiscope. I think Digiscope might be one of Digibyte's greatest hidden gems. We are able to tip live. As you can see, Master Leadership got tipped live in today's space. That is something that us as a community, only we have that. Only we have the ability to live tip on X and Telegram. So this is, we want to attack one of these bigger media outlets to speak on our technology. I think one of the easiest ones to really bring in is Digiscope. It's a fun protocol that allows you to do live tipping, and it's super easy. And as you guys know, I run bounties there, and I'm going to be running bounties there for as long as I want. And it makes an already structured community even more on the same page with his forums, with the way that you are able to educate, whether that's Digiscope educating yourself or whether you want to propose goals, milestones, or even just want to chime in the forum. It's our own version of X. So I think it's crucial as us as a community to, start to voicing that out there. And I would love, again, for us to maybe have more tipping, right? You see Adam doing it. You see Rancel doing it, myself. I think all of us as a community, 5 Digibyte, what I talked with, Johnny, 5 Digibyte is a lot, dude. Like, Digibyte Daily mentioned it too. Like, when you think about it, you can buy 5 Digibyte with a penny. Which is insane. Cause we all know that, well, at green is like dead set on $36. I'm looking at like about $4.37. But even so, dude, we all know that's going to be an insane amount, specifically when these locks start to happen. But yeah, hey, Green, I know I asked you earlier. I feel like I might have to just tip you, bro, but talk to me, bro. Do we get it today? Or what?
I want the shield. Okay. Yeah, no. Like, it's coming. It's coming today. Don't worry. I was just waiting for everybody to, Yeah. But yeah, no, like, what's up, guys? What's going on?
What's up, brother? Thank you for joining us, dude. I'm sure this probably feels good just kicking back, huh?
No, I'm just chilling, listening, interpreting, but hell yeah. Yeah, no. Like, do we got some new people in here? Yeah, not really. Block, man. There's probably so many. Yeah, for the anonymous listeners. Yeah, that's right. There's always lurkers. And the new people. And just anybody who's wanting to know how the DigiDollar works. So, The DigiDollar is the world's first truly decentralized stablecoin. So we're going to go and play devil's advocate and play a little game. So let's pretend Digibyte's magical price right now is $1 and you have 500 Digibyte, which means you have $500 in Digibyte, which means you have $500 in Digibyte collateral to lock, time lock specifically, to mint DigiDollars. So there are collateralization ratios because Digibyte is the world's first truly decentralized stablecoin. And to make this work, it's over collateralized. What does over collateralization mean? That means there's more Digibyte backing the DigiDollars that are minted. So, for example, not really for example, the DigiDollar is going to work as so there's a range of 500% to 200%. The shorter you lock, for example, of the 30-day, that's 500%. So $1 Digibyte, you have 500 Digibyte. You want 100 DigiDollars. That means you have to lock $500 in Digibyte collateral to get the 100. 10-year, 200%. So there's different time locks you can choose from. 30 days, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, 7 year, 5 years, 7 year, and 10 year. So yeah, it goes from a scale. The longer you lock, the less collateral you have to put up. There's something special about it called Taproot, and it enables a little bit of privacy features. So I could send you $1 million DigiDollars on chain and it'll look like all zeros and no one will know exactly how much is, we just sent between each other, but they'll know it was DigiDollars. But then there's also another beautiful feature about it is the reserves are shown on chain. So there's reserves on the Digibyte.io website that you can check out. And also in Core Wallet where you need to mint, where you need to hold your DGB at all times because that's your sovereignty. That's your freedom. So from there, you can actually see how many DigiDollars are minted specifically at that moment and how many Digibyte have been locked up to create those DigiDollars. This is the world's first. It's truly decentralized, which means basically you're not paying tax on this because you're not coming out and pulling out to USD or USDT or USDC, things of that nature that are backed by US dollars, US federal notes. This is DigiDollar. The DigiDollar is a stable unit used, basically think about like the price of $1, the structure of it. One is one. Well, in Core Wallet, DigiDollar will always be 1 is 1. There's been a lot of questions and concerns or just interest out there of, well, won't they be more or less on exchange? Yeah, like an exchange, if they do get listed on exchanges could charge $1, $1, $2. They can dip it to 99, just the same way they do USDC, whatever they want to do, because it's their DigiDollars. They hold the keys, they call the shots. Same thing with you. Let's say you wanted to make a deal and and you can see, and everyone sees how special these DigiDollars are, and these DGB are. There's possible ways you can get super deals. Like you want a house for $1 million, we'll pay 800,000, pay 700. Get a 20 or 30% deal, and if the person wants it like that, they'll take that deal. There's no permission needed. You could literally lock them right now. If DigiDollar was live, you wouldn't have to wait 30 days, 6 months for the banks to approve you. And, there's no risk of your assets getting frozen because it's a DGB. It's 2014, 24/7, no downtime. You hold the keys, you know what I'm saying? No one can redeem your collateral contract in the end. You could essentially give your contract away or sell it, by just giving someone the wallet.dat file, pretty much, the keys of that wallet that's specifically minted in that vault. But yeah, that's the spiel for right now, I guess. Anybody want to play some devil's advocate or something? I don't know.
I just want to say the industries that's going to be built around the DigiDollar into the future are breathtaking.
Yep.
Because you made a good point, right? You made a good point. When we time lock this DGB, there is a gauge that we're looking at. We're looking at it on chain, on the website, or in the Core Wallet. By the way, like they've repeatedly said, if you want to mint DigiDollars, you're going to need a Core Wallet. So it's time to start to learn what a Core Wallet is and how to install it on your computer. But what we don't know is how this is going to impact the marketplace. I know some people are going to mint DigiDollars and they're going to use them. but technically a $Digi is worth more than $1. So I don't know how that dictates in a true marketplace when people go to trade it, because another interesting dynamic, and I know this is, I'm running on a rabbit chase here, but now the selling pressure, which I just want to just iterate, the selling pressure on Digibyte is going to be eroded, which means that there's not going to be people in the traditional marketplace selling their Digibyte anymore. They're going to be taking it to the blockchain and printing $. And now the pressure for selling is on an alternative asset. So that's going to astronomically impact Digibyte. I'm not saying Digibyte is about to skyrocket. What I'm just saying is when people are not selling, the price is more favorable. So you have that, but then you have the fact that these $. Are already over collateralized. And then you have the fact that you have Digibyte appreciating. You're looking at a very, very interesting marketplace. And I think it's going to be so favorable for $. Holders and Digibyte holders. It's going to be so beautiful. What I encourage people to do is to get, as someone who studied leadership, know who you are today. Understand who you are today. Because when your lifestyle changes, you got to make good choices. And the great thing is, Digibyte, we're already this community about something great. Let's continue even after Digibyte does do anything powerful in the marketplace to be cohesive and take on initiatives and care about other people. And that's something I adopted from the ethos from Digibyte is Digibyte was built for everybody. And one day it's going to be so expensive. And we still need to make sure the average man understands value in this. And so that's why we need to make sure that we're looking at alternative ways to get people into the ecosystem.
Digibyte is not an investment. That's all I
Right,
gotta say, guys.
right.
That's all I gotta say.
It's the future, which means that I don't predict the day of me ever wanting to get rid of my Digibyte. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't predict the day that I ever wanted to sell. I've never sold, I've given away a lot of Digibyte, but I've never really sold my Digibyte. And when I sold, it took years. So I just feel like as someone that's been around, and I heard Digibyte talk about how painful it's been, but it's been painful. Holding Digibyte for the last almost decade has been painful. And building with it has been painful because you're investing in building, and this idea is so innovative that it goes over everybody's head. You get what I'm saying? Like DigiID, like when I first heard about DigiID, I was like, oh my God, it's so great. Everybody's going to use it. No. First of all, do people trust it? Second, can you get people to see the value in it by opening the doorknob?
People
So
see, my bad to cut you off, but people,
it's
the big guys see the value in it because they can't be fucking froze. And that is the thing. We're going to use Iran for the perfect example, bro. The Bitcoin superpower of the fucking world, that's a national security threat. Let's just say that. And why do you think why do you think they froze Tron? Why do you think they froze their USDT and all these other, let me chill. But yeah, guys, like, like
Damn, bro,
Iran
I'm gonna have to
perfectly
put you
could
back
use
on mute.
this. Iran perfectly could use the digidollar as a strategic tool to evade sanctions, as you would say. Not even really evading, you're opting out of the sanctions, pretty much. They could use the digidollar, they could transact as much as they want. Niggas can see, people can see it on chain, and it doesn't fucking matter. You know what I'm saying? But because it shows up as all zeros and defeats the part. Like this shit's gonna change the world, guys. Like this shit is too powerful. Like the digidollar, Digibyte combined, bro, the strategic reserve asset beyond. Like, And it's crunch time. What do we need? Is it 4 more oracles, YC, or is it 5?
I think it's 4. I know Jared said 5, but if you count ID 0, which is Jared, and as you go to the 0 to 30, that means we have 31.
Yeah, that's
But,
what I was thinking too.
but maybe
yeah.
I'm missing the boat here because he posted, hey, we need 5. But either way, I mean, 4 or 5, I mean, okay, we needed we were at 18 like 3 days ago. So now we're at 30 or 31. I mean, we've gotten so many people to come on board. I mean, even Dennis came on as a dev. He's an Oracle too. So we have Digibyte Daily. He came on. That's awesome. So yeah, we need to keep pushing to get those additional 4 or 5 Oracle providers and follow the steps, and then give your Oracle key to DigiSwarm. And I suspect over the next couple of days we're going to do this, basically kind of planned, update, because we need to make sure everybody's on the same page. But from my understanding, Green, I think it's 4. That's what I'm
me too. You're like counting from 0. That's what I thought. But I had made a post, but I deleted it because I was like, I don't want to say it's 5 or 4.
Well, Jared is 0, so that makes him number 1 theoretically.
Exactly.
If you go by the list that's up there, he's listed as 0, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So technically 4, right? That's what I'm just trying to get the count
I think
right.
it's 4 because we have Digibyte Daily's 30 and Jared's 0. So 0 to, counting 0.
31.
Isn't that 31?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So 4 or 5 more, but here we go, guys. We're knocking
I would
on that
encourage
fucking...
people to sign up to be an Oracle, man.
That's going to happen. It's going to happen. That's going to happen. Wonderful. And
Hey. Go ahead. You're good. My bad, Master of Leadership.
No, I was just saying that's going to happen. Like, we're going to see support for this Digidot. Like when Jared back in 2000 and I want to say 19, he was just talking about how he wanted to create a stable coin, and I had put a comment under there like, let's just use Digibyte as collateral. I didn't think that my idea was anything good or anything, but I just thought that it just made sense. It just makes sense to use Digibyte. Like, I just love this community. Like, I just love everything that gets burst out of this forward thinkingness, because it's always thinking about something before you could think about it. And it's like, damn, these people are genius. So I'm just ecstatic to be involved with this. Coming from where I come from, being aware of like this innovation, I just feel like privileged. Like, I feel privileged to be at this point with Digibyte. And, like I said, Digibyte finds you. You don't find Digibyte. And I really believe that. I really believe that. And one day that's going to change. But Digibyte is for the people that it needs to be for right now. And these are the innovators. These are the people who want to see freedom. These are the people that want to see a parallel economy. These are the people that want to be able to hold their own wealth, not be dictated to, not be frozen, and these are the like minds I want to be around. These are the people I want to be wealthy with. And when you look at the dynamic of all of that, you have to think about over the last decade how much FUD and division and personalities and just so much stuff has happened to divide Digibyte, but it's remained cohesive for over 12 years, and it has provided the most resilient security for blockchain that we could think of in this space. And I'm just ecstatic. Like, I'm glad we're in the history book. This, they frowned upon us when we said, no, we don't care about listing right now. All we care about is the technology. We don't care about the listing. We care about making sure that we stay true to the Satoshi white paper, the biblical passage of what this is. Like, that's the Bible of this space. Stick to it. And I'm telling you, we're going to be rewarded. We're going to be rewarded. And the question is, how many people will you tell? Like,
Yeah, I mean that's the truth, right? It's all about spreading message. I guess I know Green mentioned, to play devil's advocate, and for I did get somebody ask me a long time ago, like, what assurance can we give someone that a depeg won't happen, since that tends on being a lot of the people's major worry. If you guys want to help me clarify that for the community, like what obviously this is not
In
financial
Core
advice, but
Wallet, guys, DigiDollar
Mhm.
is one. Just know that. In Core Wallet, DigiDollar, one is one. Doesn't matter. It could be 50 cents on an exchange. In Core Wallet, it's one is one. There is no DPEG.
Right. And also, DigiDollars are over collateralized. So they're automatically protected from a downturn. So the thing is, a DigiDollar is not really a dollar. It's not a dollar. It's over a dollar. So it's going to be, it's stronger than USDT because
It's a
USDT,
dollar, but it's worth way more because the
right.
Now,
power it
what
holds.
could be a scenario where system health could be under 100%? That, I guess, that would be the better question. Like, what if that is a possible scenario? If people have that
Well, let me just
same
chime in
question,
here,
yeah.
AJ. I think the thing is we have to think about this. We're all thinking about this we're looking at like, cycles and market conditions, and then we see like volatility, and we see all these assets go down 90 to, 95, 98%, whatever it is, right? And so if you specifically look at, even if you look at collateral requirements, right? If you're doing 30 days and you have a 5x collateral ratio, it only becomes under collateralized at that rate with a lock period of 30 days and 500%. It would take an 80% drop in the price at that moment for it to get under collateralized. Or so think about that. Like, that is on the shortest time frame with the highest amount of collateral that you would imagine, right? Most typically those large significant drops are happening in a very short period of time because you may be just kind of doing nothing for a long time and then boom. So that's suggesting that, let's just hypothetically say, I'll give an example. Let's say you had 30 days and you do a 500% collateral ratio and the existing price of Digibyte is a penny. With that being said, you're not getting under collateralized if there's an 80% drop from a penny. I mean, just think about that. And as you go up to 10 years and you're at 200% collateral ratio, you're getting under collateralized after a 50% drop. So not only do you have these different systems that are in place, right? You have no liquidations or margin calls, and then you have the ERR, the 4-layer protection, the dynamic collateral adjustment, redemption ratio. But the biggest thing is, think about this. From a logical and mathematical standpoint, if you're locking up more Digibyte, are you more prone to see an 80% drop? I mean, that's the biggest thing that I think people are not paying attention to.
Right? Like they're not seeing that pressure from the market.
They're not seeing the pressure of that asset being taken out of circulation. So the economics don't suggest that it's a naked asset anymore. There's nothing left for it to free fall. It's that if you're taking, because it does not matter if you're an exchange or anybody else, if you want to lock up and mint DigiDollars, you are required to put it in a core wallet and actually lock up physical Digibyte on chain. You must do that. And as a result of doing that, you are reducing the existing circulation of that asset. If you're incentivizing miners too, like the miners are typically the biggest folks that are saying, okay, we mine, we have electricity, we have investment cost, we mine X amount of Digibyte, we just dump it right back on because we're recouping. Well, if they have an incentive now where they are getting all this Digibyte from mining, and they could say, well, you know what? I could go dump it right now, or I could take a portion of it, maybe get some of my cost out, and the rest of it, I'm going to lock it up and get DigiDollars. And then I'll put those DigiDollars to work. And maybe I can get more than the market rate's going to bear me if I was just to sell the asset. So now you have miners, you have holders, you have exchanges, You have other communities coming in to look at this as a safe haven strategic asset. Do you all think that with that kind of demand, are we still suggesting we're going to see an 80% drop in the collateral value? It being over collateralized by 500% too? I mean, just think about that.
Right. That's why I love this community, because you just did a thought pattern for me. Like, you just created a thought pattern for me that just made me even more resilient about this technology, because it's not like they have an option. There's no better option out there than this. This is truly transparent. This is sound money, and it sticks to the future forward thinkingness that we've been. I just had to ring us back into showing that it's covering the taxes. It's covering your ownership. It's covering do you know that over 35 million digibytes slipped through my hand over the last decade, that if I would have had time lock, I would have still had that digibyte. So
that's what Jared was saying too. Like, for all the years of early holders that had to pay their bills or, whatever it was, life situations, and they were forced to sell, not because they wanted to, but because they had to. Imagine if they had something like a DigiDollar where they could have locked up their Digibyte, taken a loan against themselves, and used some of that capital to manage their life situation. And maybe it wouldn't have been all of it, but it would have reduced the pressure somewhat, some level, versus when you don't have that option, you just have to do it. And I think these are the differences we're seeing now, where, I keep reading about these things of stable coins freezing assets. And I know, Green, you kind of spoke about it a little bit earlier, but you don't have that. And I think another thing that people haven't really, really internalized, because they're so preconditioned to think this, is if your lock period ends and you don't want to unlock your Digibyte, you don't have to. Like, if the 1 year comes up and you're like, you know what, I still have my DigiDollars. I didn't spend them. Maybe I spent them and I made money on them, and now my DigiDollars are sitting there and my 1 year period's up. It's not like the system is going to say, I'm going to force you to take those DigiDollars and go unlock that Digibyte like right now. You must do it. You could leave it there indefinitely in an unlocked state of, like, that option could be unlocked, and you don't have to do anything. You could just keep using your DigiDollars as long as you want and just let it be.
They say that there's 1.8 billion digibytes per person.
Hey, let me kill two birds and one stone off what you just said, basically, like both of you guys just said. Like, okay, so going back to the whole 80% drop thing, let's really play devil's advocate and actually be a little realistic. Digibyte being as strategic as it is, let's say it is on exchanges in the future, there will be wild price swings, in my opinion, just because, like, think about it, there's no perpetuals or futures already. You've got the emergency redemption ratio in place. So, like, just how you were just explaining, if your year locks up and it's expired and it's ready to be redeemed, you don't have to redeem it because it's your time, time lock. It's your time, literally. So let's say the emergency redemption ratio is triggered, and to burn, let's say the health percentage is under 90 or 100 to 95%. You need, let's say you minted 105 or 100 DigiDollars. Now you need 105 because it's 5% extra. And then so on and so forth down the line with the percentage drops. So let's say now it goes hand in hand with what you just said. You don't have to redeem, whenever you want to. It's the same thing as if, like, the 80% drop did happen. Let's say it happened and it wouldn't stick. Obviously, we know that. But let's say it happened and DGB's price was down 80% technically for like 3 days. That right there, these system health ratios and all these things, and the dynamic collateral adjustments, it's all safety measures and safety guards in the protocol already to help the system, maintain organic growth and organic stability. So, I just thought that would go like hand in hand with what you were just saying, basically.
Well, it's what you're saying is that the system is already built in to normalize that situation. So, the whole idea of this depegging thing, I think it's, again, we're thinking about it like, oh shoot, if the asset depegs as the stable coin, then I'm going to get margin called or liquidated. That's the original decisioning you think about. But in this case, if it goes under, yeah, you're going to have to put up more digidollars to equalize or normalize that system. But remember, guys, it's making you put more Digibyte because it's anticipating the worst case scenario, which is that drop in price. That's why you're putting 500% up to still say at a 5x over collateralization, it can sustain an 80% drop before it starts under collateralizing on a 30-day window. But realize the longer that time frame goes on, the more Digibyte get locked up. Even if that collateral ratio is less, it's 200%, you can't unlock this for a decade, which means that the games that can be played on a more intermittent basis can't occur because you can't take those Digibyte you can't put them back into circulation prior to that 10-year period. I mean, hell, even if you sold that contract after 5 years and you're like, I'm out of here, I just want something for my position. And let's say I sell my 10-year position to Green, and Green gives me some, consideration for my position. It's not going to be par. It's going to be less because I want my, yeah, whatever it is, I take, which is not going to be the assumed value at time of origination or when I locked it. Because he's not, why would he do that? He knows that I'm in a motivated situation, and he's like, I don't care that I have to wait 10 years. I'll wait another 5 years. He buys out my position, but he still knows he can't unlock that Digibyte for the additional 5 years. Now he's okay with it, but as you do that, you're curbing that situation for it to really just drop so much that you're out. It's almost like you're creating a over collateralization is like a buffer number one. Like, okay, we're going to protect ourselves. Buffer number two is like, okay, we're not going to margin call and liquidate you, because typically when you have margin calls and liquidations, I mean, we see this in the normal market. Those usually cause massive amounts of volatility. Well, we don't have that. Then you have the third piece, which is, the more you take it out of circulation, how are you planning to really create crazy, like you can create mass volatility on the other side, where if you get too much locked up, what is that going to do to the native asset? Now, I mean, that may be a good position to be in, especially since if we're all believing in the asset and its functional use and whatever it may be. But on the downside, we're already covering that by the over collateralization. And the thing that people don't see with a lot of these other assets is you get to see these health meters and everything live in your core wallet at any point in time. So even if you're locking up, you're going to, we talked about this too, Green, like you'll be able to see what the market is signaling, because you can see how much will get locked up in real time. If you start seeing large amounts getting locked up, that means that the market's signaling that they believe in this, they trust in this, and somebody's really taking a big leap on it. So it's kind of giving you a leadway as to where things may go. Yep. Not 100%, but it's more than we have now.
And also the dynamic collateral adjustment. So the lower the network health percentage goes, the more DGB collateral has to be put up for Digibyte. Right. So, if it goes down 120 to 149, that's plus 20%. So, if you needed 200% off of a 10-year, now you need 220%. And you can just imagine as it goes down the scale, the more DGB it grows. If DGB was to drop 80%, the question is, guys, are you scooping? You know what I'm saying? Are you scooping a bag?
Well, that's the other whole big question in this. That's the other extreme question is, if you're talking about depegging, but you're locking up, how much more demand will there be for that asset? That's the thing. I don't think we're only just talking it from a fear perspective. If it just goes, what is the other perspective? Maybe it's an opportunistic perspective.
Right. And I think another thing that parallels this is that we forgot that before DigiDollar, Digibyte is already a deflationary existence, which means that over the next, 7, 8 years, fewer Digibytes will be emitted into the ecosystem. So after 10 years, I don't think we expect an 80% drop.
You're having 1% reduction in mining rewards per month, I believe, is what it is.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
I
So you
feel
also
it
have
wouldn't
that
even
going into
take.
play too.
I feel the first 2 years of DigiDollars is going to be crucial. Obviously, and I feel like after that, once we're vetted in, you know, y'all know, yeah, like it's going to be nice. I mean,
Just
in
don't
general,
forget about me, Green Candle. Don't forget about me when I'm asking you to get on your yacht.
oh my God, you got to be a mega shark, man. You got to be a mega shark. No, I mean, like everyone holds, what they hold, but it doesn't matter how much you hold. One is one. Like that's really all that matters. And in self custody, core wallet. Me specifically, that's pretty much the only thing you're gonna ever hear me preach. Core wallet, y'all know this. So it's like the keys, the keys, the keys, guys. Like lock them in, and
Yeah,
then
get that
lock your
core wallet.
DGB.
See,
That core wallet is your
Other
bank account.
the
My
core
fucking
wallet
baby,
force.
man. What do you mean? The core wallet is my fucking baby, bro. Like,
Right. The core wallet, your bank account, and Jared already said that they're working on a possible mobile wallet that will allow you to store some of your digi dollar.
I
Yeah,
mean,
he
yes,
So
already he already
beautiful for
tested it and
on the
he
go
sends it.
for sure. But hell yeah.
Thank you. You guys just keep in mind so we're not talking over everybody. I think one thing I want to interject that I think we don't talk about enough is, we're trying testnet, but I do feel like there's going to be a couple people out there that, I hope they don't, but might fuck up, the way that they lock and maybe they just lose their keys and stuff like that. So I think that's another thing. It's just a thought that I had. I think we have to keep in mind. Like, I wonder how many people are actually going to, lose what they locked up. They might just go in and lock up, and I think that's one thing that I figured I'd chime in. I was just thinking about that. I'm like, how much Digibyte out there is probably already lost. Imagine how many contracts might be lost in a scenario where people don't go out there and try testnet, and we just get people that go immediately to locking up their DigiDollar and I guess forget, right, and then just never come back to it. And you know how some
I
people are.
mean,
At least as far as crypto.
all they got to do is literally back up their wallet.dat files and make multiple fucking copies, as we say, as is the way, and be smart about it, Don't forget about it. Be smart about it. Guard the keys with your life. Guard the USBs with your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, like just be smart about it. That's the
Well,
yeah. That's all I'm gonna say.
they also, I mean, we see this too when we look at the actual, when you do the use DigiDollar, there is a tag on there that this is, experimental or it's in, so people have to be aware of that, right? I mean, there's a certain responsibility, like, if you, like, it's like if you put all your, life savings on a mobile wallet and the mobile wallet gets discontinued from the Apple store, or you didn't save up your keys, or you don't know how to export them out, that's on you. Like you can't, like, it's like the whole thing I said before, like you can't get pissed because the bank loses, like the creditors come in and the bank says, okay, well, we're not giving you par for your dollars anymore. Or, we can't get pissed that the banks don't hold 1-to-1 reserve for our dollars at the bank, or they can't give us all of our money without asking us for all our information. Okay, so if you don't want to rely on banks and you want full control, well, then you have to take the responsibility that you have with full control, backing up your keys, making sure you do a test amount, making sure you know how to, unlock them and responsibly pull them back. You need to do that. So, AJ, I think there's definitely going to be people that do it, but I mean, it's like buyer beware, right? You got to know what you're using. Because
Exactly.
this is not a situation where I can go to the bank and be like, oops, I accidentally sent it to the wrong account. Can you guys refund me my money? There's no process like that here. But I mean, if you want to have autonomy over your life, you have to be clear that you are willing to take all the responsibilities, good and bad.
Yeah, I think that's why I come to this space through the avenue that we need to educate, because people don't understand what we're giving up to have this. That security you defer is now something you need to take in for yourself. And that's why I've always taken the education platform, because people need to understand, first of all, what is a private key? What is a mnemonic phrase? How do you store it? Why is it important not to share it? Just some basic things. And, I'm ecstatic about the development of Digibyte, everything that's happening, DigiDollar, DigiAssets being re-explored. I love all this, but my goal is to onboard as many average people as possible to this platform. And my ways are not necessarily always conventional, but what I will say is people are learning about this, and they're believing in something again. Jared Tate said that when he was writing the code of Digibyte, he was listening to the song Something to Believe In. And if you listen to that song, you will see why Jared Tate created Digibyte. And Digibyte was made for everybody. And so I just want to always remember to tell people that digital freedom in the new age is for everybody. Whoever wants to learn, even if you don't know, let's educate. Let's onboard as many people as we can to truly understand how this works. So we have more people downloading core wallets. Because I feel like it's going to be a secondary market of DigiDollars where people are going to be minting them for people. And you made a good point, Digibyte, that you could potentially sell your time lock. So
There is no potentially. You could.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
there's
You
way
could,
there's
yeah.
way
I was
more
just
things than
gonna
that.
say that, dude. I was gonna say, Green. My DigiDollar is gonna be up for sale. One DigiDollar will probably go for
nah, he's
$50.
talking about the contracts. Like, so basically, you wouldn't be selling a contract like until there's an open market, I guess. But
Yep.
essentially, you'll be selling your keys. Your wallet.dat file, whether it's like a IRL transfer, or if it's online, you'll have to figure out how to do all that.
That's
But
true.
yeah, essentially, dude, you could literally, as soon as it hits mainnet, you'll be able to mint. Let's say the price goes up 150%, but you don't want to wait to redeem. You just want to make a little extra money on it after you then minted the DigiDollars. But you could essentially sell it for double, triple what it's worth.
Yeah, and this is what we were talking about in the last spaces is, and this is for folks that weren't on that, is you will have so many use cases being built once this thing goes on mainnet. A lending market, you can have a buy and sell contract marketplace, people that want to sell their existing contracts, and then you'll have buyers that want to do it. And they will probably transact in DigiDollars or, whatever that is. So that ecosystem will flourish. Obviously, it's going to be up to us to build that. But there will be so many platforms and mechanisms to use that. I mean, I even brought up an example, and I'm repeating it again, but, what if you have your Digibyte locked up, you have DigiDollars, and now you want to take the DigiDollars and you want to buy gold with it. And you have the top 5 gold companies out there that now start accepting DigiDollars, and you pay them in DigiDollars, you get your gold. Let's say you wait on a 1-year time lock and gold goes up, you sell your gold, you get it back, they pay you back the extra DigiDollars with the premium that you made on gold. And then you take that, you keep the difference as yield, and the rest of it, you unlock your contract after a year. There's going to be all types of things like that. I mean, you can get very, very creative, but that's just all the extra stuff that's going to be built and can be built. And there will be demand because, we've been talking about this contract buying and selling for, I don't know what it's been, 8 months?
Yeah.
We've been talking about a long time.
For real.
Contract buying and selling is like the bonds market in a way. I mean, that's how I see it.
Hey, I have a question, YC. Once we do go mainnet, who's fucking grabbing the Gatorade and dumping it all over Jared, dude? How can we get a video of getting a fucking Gatorade shower on Jared? Because I know we're all gonna celebrate in different ways, but we gotta get Jared.
Yeah, I don't know how we're going to get him. The dude is definitely been, he's amazing. For someone that represents crypto the way he did, I just, there would be so many reasons why he wouldn't need to with all the pressure around him from all these other projects. But it's like he told me, he's really doing this for the betterment of humanity. He's had to make a lot of tough choices. But dude, I mean, this is like 7 years in the making. And so, it's a big deal. It's been like brutal for the past year because it's been nonstop on it. But yeah, man, I mean, I think the other thing just to realize is like, he is putting his brain, and obviously it was a community effort. I get that. But like, just even him thinking about these various scenarios using AI probably faster than most companies or projects are even augmenting AI in this fashion to, try to break the protocol, break the existing chain, finding bugs in testnet, solving it, going through iterations, having testers all over the world doing it. It's a remarkable solution. And yeah, I think he has to caveat it like, hey guys, we put all this work in, but I can't guarantee that it's going to get adopted. I can't guarantee that it's going to skyrocket. I can't guarantee that anything about price. I can't do any of that. But what I can say is that this is a real tool out there that you can take control of your assets. You can self custody. And that goes back to what we have expressed on these spaces now for months and months is we can have the best technology. The developers will do what they can deliver on a secure, real offering that will have real utility. But it's our job as a community to go spread and have the adoption and have the awareness. Can't expect the devs to do that as well. And we just kind of sit around. I'm not saying we're sitting around, but it won't work that way. So it goes back to the community is the marketing, community is the collateral. It is all up to us. But, and what we're going to start realizing, guys, is that we don't need to keep enhancing technology. It already works. Like, there's not much more Digibyte needs. I mean, it's got everything. The only thing it needs is we have to get people to use it and people to embrace it. The most difficult part of having a technology that has still been around for over a decade, we've completely defeated the odds. I mean, there's been millions of chains that have tried that with a ton more money and they've all failed. So I think just to internalize what you're a part of, you're in the minority, but now you have the chance to educate the majority. Be the minority, educate the majority. That's
I'll
it.
say, oh my bad.
Go ahead,
I'll
bro.
say
Ooh,
majority.
that's a crazy
The
tweet, bro.
majority they prefer fucking convenience over sovereignty, So it's yeah,
You package it up and sell it to
But
them.
yeah, I know.
you package it up in a way that they don't need to. I know exactly what you're saying. I don't want to say. I mean,
Yeah,
my
me
whole
either.
thing. My whole thing is most human beings are conditioned to be under control. Really, I mean, if you give them an option, but they say they won't. But then when push comes to shove, they want a handout, right? So that's a whole different conversation. But again, it goes back to how do we present this, right? It's like, dude, like if you're using, you could get to a point where you're using tools and stuff and people wouldn't even know that Digibyte would be the underlying technology using it and functioning in, but they'll use it. It's the same thing. Like we have to make sure we let people realize like this is a better way to live your life. And if there's enough pain points that people are seeing, whether it's inflation, whether it's money printing, whatever it is, if that pain gets high enough, people will make a different choice, man. And if we make this, like if we have the attitude that DigiDollar is easy enough for our grandmas to use, then it will be embraced, man. So, yeah, but I go by that thing. Like we are a very, very unique bunch of individuals. Like, and I just said it again earlier, like the minority, and we just have to, I mean, we almost have to save the majority. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. So it's not an easy task, but we're up for it, guys.
Yeah, and it also shows in these spaces. Like you can hear, like you said, YC. There's a couple pep and some people step in the OGs, but it's not even that. Like, and I'm going to segue to you, Digibyte Daily, because I see that you wanted to chime in, but he's a testament of that too, right? Like myself and all the newer faces that we get to see and hear. You come into these spaces with almost like a joy to educate, and that's a different feeling to crypto in general, bro. Like as far as my experience. Never have I, fallen into a community, and it's not like, you're really like trying to rally people up. People are self-motivated here, and And that's what's kept our chain alive for 12 years. And that's what's going to give us another 100 years, right? The fact that when we sit in these spaces and we're able to riff off each other and learn and, you know, pick up, I guess different strategies on how we're going to, you know, educate the new onboarders. This is one of the biggest testament of what our community is, how lethal. And again, you guys, we're only at 10% signal. Imagine when we really start to really be at 100% signal and these spaces are 1,000 plus, maybe 5,000 plus. And now we got, you know, those people that literally just come in and start organically just motivating themselves just by hearing us speak. And the way that we speak about Digibyte isn't in a condescending tone. It's in a tone that look what we've learned or look what I've learned. Now let me pitch in what I believe. And then how can we build on it together where, you know, it doesn't obstruct the ways that we're trying to work, but it also helps build and progress forward in a super productive way. And these spaces are the main key. But yeah, dude, go ahead, Digibyte Daily. I see you wanted to say something.
Oh man, it's tough because I don't want to interrupt somebody, but if I don't take a note, like it's hard keeping the headspace of like what I was gonna ask, what I was gonna say. So it's kind of drawing a blank right now.
I got you, bro, because I gotta say something.
Yeah.
Yo, when they see us mint, you know, that's the signal. That right there is gonna make everyone wake up. No permission needed. Do it anytime I want. No liquidations, no margin calls. Literally never sell. When they see that work in fluid motion, that right there, in my opinion, that's the signal. Nobody wants to. People are stuck, you know, the ones that, you know, aren't here already and don't have their eyes open, you know. Not even, it's like you don't even have to be here to have your eyes open. You don't have to be a Digibyte holder to have your eyes open, you know. But not a lot of eyes are open, you know. So once the world sees that, and then, you know, once that first thing happens on chain, guys, just wait.
Well, then you have the other thing is like, okay, we're as a community conducting this. You know, what happens now when you get the first exchange or first, you know, DEX or centralized exchange that now puts up a DigiDollar pairing, right? And that starts creating this different level of feeling or momentum. And that is now allowing people to have an easier option. You know, how many exchanges are going to just sit by and not do anything? Right? I mean, that's another whole psychological shift, which we talked about last call. You know, we have to learn to be the leverage. That's the game right now. We don't need to feel like we're like the providers have the leverage over us, which has been kind of the theme for all these years. We have to go in with the attitude like, hey, you'd really be lucky if you listed this, because I mean it's amazing. But if you don't, get in the back of the line.
Nah, if you don't, you're gonna look stupid. That's
exactly. It's not going to be good optics for them either.
But in general, like there's things that I've thought about, you know, like what if they don't participate because, you know, this is such a experimental speculative thing.
Well, they'll be forced to. They'll be forced to. I know these are the things that I've mentioned before, but whether we like to think whether they're not going to participate or not, they will be forced to, bro. If I can give myself a loan and, you know, I think one of the things that I've been trying to focus on is, you know, if we, which I do believe we will get to it, you know, and we're slowly getting there, is building our decks. Once we build our decks, you know, obviously this is after DigiDollar, is fully launched in mainnet and we're all minting DigiDollars, you know, like we speak of. As a community, we've already kind of all come down to the conclusion that there's going to be people that are going to want to sell their smart contracts, you know, they're time locked. And there's going to be people like me that are, be quite honest with you, I'm looking forward to, you know, loaning out my DigiDollars, helping somebody else that needs a loan. And, you know, I reap some yield off of that. But those things are things that it's going to, whether the exchanges want to or not, it's going to be a shift where they'll be forced to, because of the fact that we are 1-to-1. And again, if you're in the United States, it's a non-taxable event. It's a no-brainer for you to lock up your native asset, give yourself a loan, whether that is even if you decide to move it or not, and you're playing the scarcity game. It's just a win-win all around, which is why I tell you, while right now what YC is saying and what I've been trying to chime in is like, well, yes, it is quite just, we shouldn't be the ones, trying to fight for the leverage. It's gotta be the other way around. And we're getting there already. I mean, it's some things that I obviously can't say. And, Adam is another one that there's certain things that we just aren't allowed to speak about, but it's already slowly happening. And this is why I point out to the whole signal thing. We are at 10% signal, bro. But when we become 100% signal, meaning we're the forefront of crypto, that's what I mean by that, Green. It's not just necessarily, trying to haggle with these exchanges and get to our fund. It's more
Nobody's trying to
so.
haggle with the exchanges, but jumping back to the whole thesis we were going at,
Oh
I
no,
don't
there's
think
definitely
we're
haggling.
forcing anyone. We can't force anyone in time lock. There's no gun to head for one. So I think the correct word to use would be incentivize. But in general, my perspective that I kind of feel is going to play out is they'll sit back and watch what we do for a couple of years because it's so new and so experimental.
I gotta say that they're definitely not gonna sit back and watch just because of the things that,
There's too
uh,
many options
we've
for
been,
money to
yeah.
be made in this space. Even I think I mentioned it through like just arbitrage, even just reselling DGB, buying and reselling, which is an interesting conversation I want to have there about with like how did Binance get so much? They got to be way under right now with the amounts that they have. Like, wouldn't they be incentivized to see the price go up significantly with having
Y'all don't
Well,
that
realize
huge of
that's
that.
my
a?
thing. Is
Let me.
that incentivized or is that just forcing their hands since they've been doing what they've been doing?
Well,
Again, we don't like to get into these kind of talks about Binance in here, but that's one of my questions is like, is that incentivizing or now we're just like, we're done with what they've been doing and we're forcing their hands?
We don't incentivize them. We don't force their hand. The blockchain itself, Digibyte itself, Digidollar itself, the protocol itself, the code, technology, that is what incentivizes them. Whether they want to use it or not, I
There's
don't give a
yeah.
fuck personally. Me personally, they could use it or they don't have to. Doesn't matter because I know I'm gonna use it. You're gonna use it. Someone else is gonna use it.
There's so many businesses that are gonna have options here. Say I have a bunch of Digibyte, Digidollars, and then for some reason I spend it all, go broke, and can't get my Digibyte unlocked. Don't you think there's somebody that would want to pay 90%, 95% of my Digidollars and then to unlock that and get 5% of my Digibyte for free or something like that? I mean, it seems like that's another no-brainer for me.
yeah, well, there's going to be services that provide liquidity for people that, either misallocated their DigiDollars or they put them in investments that they can't pull it out and they're short. So somebody will come up to satisfy that gap in the market for a need. And they may say, hey, you need 100. You don't have 100. You can't get 100, but you have this Digibyte that's valuable to you. I'll give you the 100, but I want a 5 or 10% success fee off the top. That's it. And that could be even just your it could just be DigiDollars that they're taking as payment. Doesn't necessarily have to be the Digibyte because that's what you're after, but there's plenty of things like that. I also brought up an example, where if you have exchanges that have their own stable coins and they control their own stable coins and they're providing their users with yield, let's say it's 5, 6, 7%. And I'm talking about native stable coins to the exchanges, which we know there's plenty of those out there. Well, if they have an existing Digibyte that they're holding in their portfolio, what prevents them from locking it up, taking DigiDollars, and then taking those DigiDollars and putting them in their own stable coins and generating yield on that? And then locking up for a year, create the pressure in the economics, and after a year, get out of their yield position and get back in the native asset. I mean, you kind of follow the track here. I mean, and just imagine you have a large exchange doing this that has a lot of it, and now you've got multiple other exchanges that are in the same situation. It's going to be an arms race to get as much as they can. And if they have their own native stablecoin, they could create a pair. They could create a DigiDollar with the stablecoin of that exchange pairing. And why would they not do that? Because they have control over that stablecoin. They're the central issuance of that. It's like an easy
We're
play.
also just past the inflection point. I think it was late last year where the supply basically drastically drops down to, like from here on out, from like, is it November? Something like that last year. Like there's only a fraction essentially that's coming out of the machine at this point.
Yeah, talking about the deflationary nature and how over the next 7 years, the 1% monthly reduction is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So new Digibyte is getting scarce. And like you guys are looking at all these dynamics, and it's interesting because when I think of the DigiDollar, I think of it a like a blessing to the blockchain, because it's like they've been able to keep us under now, but with DigiDollar, it's like it's hard. It's hard. It's going to be hard to turn your back on it. It really is. It's going to be hard.
Well, it just, that's what, Green was talking about earlier. It's not about saying to them, hey, you must do this. Like you quote unquote can't force them. It's just that the economics will play out that way, that it will naturally put them in a situation that they'll have to go that way because there won't be a better favorable situation for them. And that's what I was saying earlier. That is the ultimate leverage. It's not leverage that you need to tell someone you have. It just happens. It's kind of an unsaid thing. And that's what I'm seeing as a whole different situation here where, you have all these exchanges that might be, doing this, that are going to find out, and they might do blended strategy. They might not do all of it. It doesn't really matter because it's more that they're taking out of circulation. And even I think there was, like I said last time, there's an article when I did it, and there's like, it's not a tremendous amount. Like you can't lock up too much Digibyte in the current situation because you would exceed the existing circulation. So even that, there's a cap on that if their demand is too high. So there's a lot of things that, we won't know until this goes live, but we may be pleasantly surprised, And yeah, I think we should all prepare that maybe for the next 6 months, it's going to be slow. People want to get comfortable. They might only do like 30-day locks, 3-month locks, 6-month locks, and then people will talk about it and they'll spread the word like, hey, did you do this 30-day lock in something called DigiDollar? Oh yeah, I did it. It worked perfect. Okay, now more people see it. Now it's like, okay, did you do the 30-day, the 6-month or 3-month? And eventually you're just creating these mechanisms that suggest to the marketplace that this stuff works. And if you have enough test data or sample data that's saying it works, now you might get someone to say, well, yeah, it works, but I don't want to just do 100 Digibyte. I want to do 1 million or 5 million or whatever it is. And once that curve happens, it's like that hockey stick, right? Like it just kind of goes, slowly, and then suddenly, boom. So a lot of exciting things.
And I just want to make mention that DigiDollar is in the core wallet. And the core wallet is what every exchange has. So, it's going to be in their face.
That's true. That's true. I mean, also, yeah, YC, you mentioned, locking up 1 million Digibyte. This is just something like, what would be, out of your guys' opinion, like an ideal price, to lock a number like 1 million Digibyte? Like for me, right, like I'm cool with 100,000, here and there, right? Like, well, when you start to think about 1 million Digibyte to lock up, right? And then like at what price would that be institution level locking? I don't know. I just thought that I was having that. I figured I'd ask you guys, as an opinion.
I like to use the small number of 21,000 because 21,000 is a good number to have in Digibyte, because 1 million people at one time can only hold 21,000. So that's a good number. But just imagine if that 21,000 appreciated to $21,000. You could, if you lived in the third world, you could live off that for the rest of your life if you time locked and borrowed and time locked and borrowed. It's a beautiful opportunity for everybody, DigiDollar. And, it's hard to accumulate cryptocurrency and it's hard to keep it. I'm just happy. I'm just happy. I'm up tonight. You guys got my energy boiling and I'm just excited about DigiDollar and everything about it because it's so vindicating to know that this community could come up with something so resilient. It's breathtaking. It just makes you feel excited about the developers, the people who have dedicated their lives over the last 12 years to making sure this blockchain remain premier. I can't wait to meet Jared Tate. You talked about the Gatorade, but I just want to shake his hand. I just want to shake his hand and tell him, Jared, because of you, I now have purpose in a world where I was purposeless. So that's how deep it is for me. And just DigiDollar and then just the Digibyte protocol itself and that term forward thinking, it's like it's been on steroids. And I think now, like we all said it, that let's stop thinking about once this DigiDollar blow up and we do so good, let's have some fun. Let's use the Digibyte. Let's make some transactions. Let's lock up some Digibyte. Let's use some DigiDollar. So let's get out there. Let's make change. Don't be afraid. And I'm ecstatic. Thank you, Digibyte, for this night. Thank you, DigiDollar. Thank you, Green Candle. Thank you, Digibyte Dan, and everybody else, including Jose, Gladden, Digibyte Party. Thank you all for being here, Hawkeye, Blind Dave, because it lets me know that not only is Digibyte here, but there's a community of people who believe in it. And that's more powerful than anything. And it makes me know that I'm not crazy.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of us here that feel the same way. I think that's what brought us here. And I think it's nice if we focus on. It's getting late. These DigiDollar, come together as a community and push specific projects like the DigiDollar and kind of hype them up and come together on these things. And it would be nice if we come together on the next one too. Maybe that's DigiAssets, DigiID. But I think as a community, it would be more effective. I think there's so much here. I think it's tough to say DigiID, DigiDollar. Just buy and hold. There's so much stuff. I think it would be nice if we kind of focused on each aspect over like a month, maybe just cycle through. Maybe next month is DigiID and try to get some sites on DigiID. I say DigiAssets because a lot of people, including myself, in DigiAssets, but it doesn't have to be DigiAssets. But work on new wallets, new programs, and then hype them up, push them, make videos, make content, and just cycle. Do a whole cycle around it, development, news, advertising, how-tos, introduction. I want the hour-long special with Green Candle where we all wear like black t-shirts like all the YouTubers do now, and they dim the lights and go super dark and go down all the rabbit holes and all the you guys know what I'm talking about. Almost they're all doing it now. Yes, I want to talk about whose channel we doing the crazy talks on. We can do this on mine. So yeah, it's been fun. I get really hyped up. I think, a lot of us get crazy ideas. The ideas flowing. I mean, we start talking about some of these things, and I know I can't be the only one thinking, man, these ideas just sound completely endless of all the things you could do, all the potential here. So, yeah, I mean, my mind just kind of goes crazy with all the stuff, and I have a brain that's hard to keep focused, so it's hard to say, okay, here's a specific thing I think I want to run with and focus on this and do this. Yeah. I think we could all help each other with that, and as well as push these projects forward and help, test each other's stuff, give good feedback. I think that's going to be beneficial for everyone. Not that each person can't do their own thing, but I think, as I mentioned earlier, there's like a lot of people that are interested in, I just keep using DigiAssets for an example because that's what's fresh in my mind, but there might be people like me like, hey, well, what if you added I know it can do a time lock, but what if you could add that native so when someone's creating one, they can just click a button and say, I want grandma's cookie recipe to go live in 30 days, and whoever buys it gets one, and it goes, the NFT recipe goes live June 1st or whatever it is, I don't know. I said lots of ideas.
Talk to Renzo.
What was that? I'm sorry.
I said Renzo, because he did say time lock once it's active. It is active on DigiAssets.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even notice he was back. Yeah, he said that it was possible. So I looked. It's been a long time since I looked, and I do recall there being some parameters. And I think the time lock was one of them. So I'm excited. That's one of the things I have an idea for.
I think Jose's still here. If you did have any questions, I think I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful maybe Jose can chime in, but I think that Renzo might be coming on Spaces a little bit more frequently, hopefully, and kind of walk us through that. Because Adam, there's definitely a lot more community members asking about DigiAsset. It's great, dude. We just, I do feel like it could be a little complicated to explain.
No, I appreciate, so I know it's getting late. I do appreciate the links that were sent earlier. I am going to take some time to peruse that, and then I might have some questions that aren't answered in there, but I don't want to, I appreciate the information. I got some time I can go through it and do some more research with the direction I got, which is great. And then if I got any follow-ups, I will definitely reach out. I think I got a handful already, but I don't want to ask a stupid question for something I can just go read on my own time.
And feel free to contact me. I have a ton of NFTs and tokens that I can send you once you set up your wallet.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
And dude, don't worry about asking stupid questions. I probably ask dumb questions all the time. So don't worry about that, dude. Everybody's here to help. I'm sure I probably don't come off the smartest here and there. So yeah.
So, guys, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Renzo, because Renzo, he's another genius. But we have something called the Digibyte domains. Are y'all familiar with those?
I've seen those. Are those it's like the Web3 domains? Is that what you're talking about?
It's similar to that.
Okay.
So, Renzo created a protocol that allows you to buy a DigiAsset and own a domain name. So say, for an example, all the wallet provider has to do is install his software that he created, which is open source, I believe. And all you do is type your domain in, and it'll send to the wallet that the asset is in.
So that's the one, if it's the one I'm thinking of, and I saw it, and this is me being overwhelmed by this space and all the information and all these things that I know that I saw at one point and can't remember when or where, but I could theoretically have like a scott.dgb address and get paid at it, and that would go to my wallet. Is that what you're...
Yeah.
Okay.
The way you track ownership of the NFT is completely it's completely open. Public, and you own it. Like, it's not like it's ran through open.
Yeah, there's no subscription. You buy it, you own it, right?
Yeah, once you pay I think it's $20, you keep the domain. But once you sell the domain,
now I remember why I know, because I was typing in like a bunch of popular, kind of like people do with Google. You type in the popular names, and you're like, oh, it's taken. Is Digi DigiShop taken. That's just an example. It's not one I searched. I don't want to say the couple I searched, to be honest. But
Yeah.
it's like, oh man, somebody's already got that one. I got another good one. It's funny. So I'm sure somebody's out there with them. But there's a lot of
But
good names available. There's a lot of just normal, like, I think if you want like Jack or John or Jim or whatever at DGB, I'm sure all those are mostly available.
yeah, I was saying I brought up DigiDomains because it's just cool. Like once DigiDollar's active, DigiDomains, it's gonna be so easy to just send Digibyte and DigiDollars. In like my name on here, masterofleadership.dgb, that's my domain. So if you have a wallet that has the domain in it, you could just send me Digibyte just like that. And it's just as innovative as everything. It's just like this technology. I'll just shut up. I'm just so amazed by it every day.
You guys, today's space has been amazing, man. This is great to see. A lot of great information. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up today, you guys. Getting a little late where I'm at. But I'm going to do another space on Friday after I announce the DD Creators winner. And, bro, what an amazing space, you guys. Definitely, we're doing really good, getting together. A lot more newer information, older faces, newer people. If anybody, I'm willing to stay a little bit, like maybe another 10 minutes for anybody that has any specific questions and stuff like that. You guys shoot it. And then, yeah, you guys, I'm going to do another space would be on Friday. And then obviously Sundays are officially going to be like a regular thing like I do on Tuesdays for DD Creators. While we, merge onto Digiscope. But if you guys have any questions or anything you guys want to say out there, go ahead, you guys. The floor is yours. Give it like 10 minutes and then we're going to break off. And yeah, dude.
I just want to say, if you guys get a chance, visit digiswagtoken.com, join the app. There's a DigiDollar exam on there. You can win 100,000 DigiSwags simply by taking an exam, proving that you know about DigiDollar. So if you want to, it's called digiswagtoken.com. It's a platform that has a Digi asset attached to it. And it's a meme coin. So if you want to get involved in the alternative economy parallel to Digibyte, that is an opportunity for you.
And again, Master of Leadership, I'd like to thank you, man. Thank you for, taking your time out of your day and coming to the DigiDollar awareness space and feeling safe to, come here and share your ideas and give us more insight on who you are to the community and, what your vision is for the future of utility when it comes to Digibyte. I'd also like to thank Jose and Renzo, for, joining us in, giving us more insight on Digi Asset along with Master of Digi. Hear me? The space just glitched out there real quick.
No, I think you disconnected for a minute.
Yeah, that was weird, dude. Oh, I got scared. But again, I like to, dude, I've been trying to keep this space as, smooth and professional as possible, not trying to say anything crazy because we all know how the suppression goes. But yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for, deciding to have DigiDollar awareness be Digibyte's safe space to, everybody get together and bond as a community. But you guys have the floor again. I'm going to chill here for like another 10 minutes. Anybody that wants to, say anything really, any questions that you guys have about the creators bounty. I usually don't touch on it on Tuesdays, but go ahead and you guys interact with the the creators that are making videos, right? Like the idea is also to get those guys trending and push their video, their way that they express the information, because all content is digestible in different ways. So obviously go do that, and feel free, you guys, anybody could basically win on a Friday. It's 6,000 DGB. The flyers go up on Sunday. All I need is just a YouTube video, with the hashtag DD creators. Make sure you have your X handle on your video with a human voice, not an AI voice, and your X handle in the YouTube description. And when you when you post your submission on the flyer, all you have to do is just comment hashtag DD creators and just the link to your YouTube video, and boom. And then the rest is up to you guys, right? Like, it's up to you. Push the message, right? Like, the winner is who the community votes, and votes are based on whoever has the highest reposts and the highest likes. So right now there's two definitely tough competitors. You know, the last 2 weeks we were starting super slow, but like I said, it's going to be a little slow on the top until we start really roller coastering this. And as you can see, these two competitors that are there now, dude, they're pulling in. One has like 20, the other one has like 33, approaching, he might be approaching 40. So, yeah, dude. But you guys have the floor. Any questions that you guys have for Digidollar Awareness over here? Again, my name is AJ, if you missed the intro, but yeah, dude.
All right, I'm going to log off. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for having me. See you guys later.
All right, you guys. I guess I'm gonna call it a night too. Shouts out to Digibyte Patriots. You guys go follow him. He's been uploading all the spaces on YouTube. Thanks again, Master DGB, Jose, Renzo, YC, Green, Digibyte Daily, everybody that joined. You guys are amazing. Again, looking forward to this week. I'm hoping maybe I'll get to release some stuff, but as you know, if you tune back in later, or if you just hopped in now, I Digidollar Awareness, revamped, the Digibyte integration papers. Hopefully they'll be out sometime this week or tomorrow. But yeah, you guys, and I'm looking forward to a lot of new things that are just going to be refreshed, and basically, dude, we're just moving forward. But you guys have a blessed night. May God bless everybody. Thank you again for joining Digidollar Awareness Space. We're a DGB. That was a pretty weird stutter there. We are DGB. There you go, guys. Good night.